All right, we're ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we are.
Are we sure we're ready? Because I don't think we are.
We're ready.
But we might be ready.
Definitely ready.
Okay, well, all right.
Ivan,
I was about to start that.
Ivan,
you want me to?
go ahead and start the show, Ivan.
You got it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys
so I
and
was
girls.
going to say, like I said before.
Woohoo! It's going to be one of those nights, folks.
At that point, I just had to do it for fun.
Welcome to Squares of the Round Table. That man over there is Jeff, who just keeps cutting me off. And, of course, there's Mike, who handles all the glitches. Hey, and I'm driving Ivan with the bong. Hey, how's everybody doing today? What's going on?
Doing good.
All right.
I was at the Jewel today.
Jewel.
They have a table for Hanukkah, and literally
table.
They have a table of Hanukkah shit.
Hanukkah products.
Like Hanukkah products. Like the entire rest of the store is like made up.
Kind of like reminds me of Highland Park, doesn't it, Mike?
Well, no, my favorite is it's Skokie. You would think there'd be more than one small fucking table, but no.
Merchandising.
And on this table, Manischewitz has.
How do you downsize Hanukkah?
Skokie. I have no fucking clue. But anyway, on the table is Manischewitz has some sort of gingerbread cookie kit, and I swear to God, this thing looks like it's like there's the gingerbread house, and then there's this house that looks like the poor people live in.
I saw that.
I mean, or like it's like a gingerbread crack house.
It's the Hanukkah house.
It's not the Hanukkah house.
It looks more like a Hanukkah back cabin, man. It looks like something that you rent for like $25 for a fling somewhere in the woods, you know?
Yeah, seriously. It's like here's my Hanukkah shanty.
It's like those YouTube videos where people build these log cabins in the woods in 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Like some little freaking bastard who eats paste made that. Like a 5-year-old kid who eats paste.
And if that's not bad enough, the 5-year-old who gives the scribble to his dad saying, "Dad, can you make this happen?"
Well, the worst part is
sure I can.
It's not even like some fly-by-night corporation who made that. It's fucking Manischewitz.
Yes,
do a little better than this. Come on now.
Old Manischewitz, okay?
Really? I mean, I understand it's got to be kosher and all this shit. Because I noticed now, on the package, it says, it's like holiday cookie. It doesn't even say gingerbread.
Distro and,
It doesn't say gingerbread. It says maybe gingerbread, kosher. I don't fucking know. All I know is it looks like it looks like some sort of either 5-year-old.
It's like a vanilla gingerbread.
Yeah, or it looks like the Hanukkah crack house, or the shanty.
It looks like the fucking poorhouse at the end of the game of life. You know?
It looks like where you rent to go have sex with the escort. I don't know.
I see. Yeah, I saw the picture you posted on Facebook. It was like a little star of David over the door.
That was pretty sad.
That's you think about what the gingerbread houses look like and how they look. Even when I was a kid and I made one, it looked like garbage. It looks better than that. It looks better and less lame than that. Holy shit! No wonder why we got a conflict about this shit.
You got to make do with what you got, especially with this year with the supply chain. I'm sure a lot of those Hanukkah products are sitting on the ships out in the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, maybe they shouldn't have sold this one then.
They shouldn't have unloaded that boat.
Yeah, seriously. It's we unloaded this boat.
Of all the things we're waiting on, they send us this.
Yeah. Load it back on the boat, please. We don't need this one. We can do better than this. Come on now. What's next? We're gonna make a fucking gingerbread house out of matzah too while we're at it? Fuck this shit. Jesus Christ.
Matzo flavored fucking house.
Oh, you mean no flavor house? Wallpaper flavored house.
So, how's your Hanukkah going so far, Jeff?
Yes, while we're at it.
So, as long as we're on this, it's the problem. I don't have a problem with Hanukkah. The problem I have is, unfortunately, Hanukkah is like, it's like, I feel like when you're dealing with, like, Jewish holidays, because the Jewish holidays are on the Common Era calendar, not the AD calendar. So it's like, I feel like I'm playing the Wheel of fucking Fortune. It's like, spin the wheel for when the holiday's gonna land. And, like, you know, like, for, like, you know, like, for, like, Yom Kippur and stuff like, for, like, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, it's, like, usually not a big deal, because it's, like, they don't usually land any place really, really crazy or anything like that. But, like, Hanukkah is all over the fucking joint. I mean...
Yeah, it's early this year.
Like, a couple years ago, it was on Thanksgiving. Then it could be like the day after Christmas.
Is this kind of the idea where floating holiday comes in?
It's like, well,
No.
the problem is on the Jewish calendar, it's not a floating holiday. On the Christian calendar, it's a floating fucking holiday. And it's like, okay, I just finished like Thanksgiving in like 48 hours. Hey, Hanukkah, what the fuck? What is this?
Dreidel, I made you out of clay.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck is going on? Hanukkah.
Solo, what kind of Hanukkah homework did you have to do after Thanksgiving?
Yes,
and
it was all the preparation, yeah.
Well, that's the problem, because it's like, if you're like sitting there going, okay, I'm not decorating before Thanksgiving. Hey, did you hear Hanukkah's like 2 days after Thanksgiving? Fuck me. Just fuck me. Just bend me over a fucking chair and ram it up my ass.
Throw you in the garbage. We're done.
Yeah, just ream me.
Yeah, that menorah's going to hurt going in.
I know, seriously.
Okay.
It's like, ram me without lube or something. I don't know. It's like, oh, God, what the hell? So it's like, now you're shopping. It's like, it's like, of course, there's no deals now because it's like, it's not Black Friday yet, you know.
Speaking of the whole Black Friday debacle, yes, from the musical community, let's go ahead and let's do Record Store Day on fucking Black Friday.
Well, of course. Because then we can try to sell records.
Okay, well, that idea went over like a lead balloon. I think over half of the retail stores that sold records totally avoided the whole Record Store Day thing.
Well, then that Saturday is promote the Small Business Saturday.
Right,
like
which
the
they
kind
kind of went
record
more
stores.
towards that, than the actual Record Store Day, because you know what? I mean, let's face it, Black Friday is a motherfucker, man. Let me tell you, you know, if you know, you got to make sure you keep the food out of their mouths, man. It gets ugly.
Yeah, seriously. It's like, hey, did you know it was Black Friday? Because like the 5,000 emails didn't tell me that.
Yeah,
all the
my
spam,
fucking Gmail's clogged up with this.
Yeah, or the Cyber Monday shit and all this stuff. It's like, and then like tomorrow's like, I mean, we're recording this on Monday, so like tomorrow's like Giving Tuesday. It's like, hey, it's like by the time it's over, right? No, seriously, I was like, hey, how about we do some fucking money Wednesday? Let's do that. Give me some
fucking money Friday.
Wednesday.
Give me fucking money Friday so I can blow it all up on the weekend.
No. By Wednesday, I might actually have a chance to save it. By Friday, I'm fucking drinking it, snorting it. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with it. Probably shoving it up some woman's punani on top of it.
Okay, we unleash the beast.
In the Hanukkah crack house.
Okay, in the Hanukkah crack house that you can build yourself at home.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what.
Totally like that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. You know what? You know what's in the non-Hanukkah crack house with the punani? Non-kosher punani. That's what I do. And they always fake it.
Non-kosher punani? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that would be girls who are not Jewish. Yes, that would be non-kosher punani. Would it not?
Come on, I am a Jewish man. I just want to be Gentile with you, you know.
Gentile. Oh, they're so wrong. Okay. I want to be Gentile with you. Oh, boy.
Hey. But
yeah, to answer Mike's question,
yes.
yeah, it wasn't bad. I mean, today's like the second day. It's like, it's like, okay, you light the menorah. All right, great, fine. I mean, it's grab some freaking potato pancakes and, try to make something of it. And all right, at least the good news is we're almost fucking done.
You got 6 more to go, bro.
Well, yeah, but,
You're just taking them into short shifts, right?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like, if I was a kid, this would be awesome. Because then I could taunt all my Christian friends whenever I get my goddamn gifts, and they didn't. Like, when I was a kid and this shit would happen, I'd be like, must suck that you gotta wait.
So you got some cool gifts yet?
Cash. Cash was good.
Cash is always good.
Cash.
Cash is always good.
I liked Cash. Cash was fine. Yeah, that's about what it turned into. And then I found this thing for my aunt where it was like some sort of wooden distress plaque where it was like, in this household, we only care about the Chicago Bears and my dog. And I knew that would be perfect. Because that's pretty much true with her.
That's nice.
That is nice.
I found it on Amazon. I bought it.
Well, it's the thought that counts.
By the way, which is the other thing? All right. Everyone's like, oh, Amazon's so wonderful, and it gets there the next day. All right, sure. It gets there the next day. Right, it gets there the next day. It's like, okay, I had the option to have it there on Saturday, and I could have picked up a $1 credit, or I could have it there on Friday, which is a little bit early, so I can make sure that it got there. I'm like, no, I want it there on Friday. Okay, it shows it's delivered. She says to me, my aunt says, like, it's not here. I'm like, that's impossible. It says it's there. Okay, I call up Amazon. They're like, oh yeah, it shows that it's delivered, but it's not delivered. But it could deliver any time up until Monday at 6 p.m. Like,
so they give you a roundabout kind of bullshit about when this thing's going to come to your house.
Well, it's like
kind of like what, like HVAC hours and shit. Oh, we'll get it in the window between 1 and 4.
So here's the thing, and this is the part.
You get the shit.
Here's how this shit happens. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know who's delivered? And I see it later as I see the tracking.
Mm-hmm.
It's being delivered by the United States Post Office. Well, they don't give a shit about nothing.
Oh no, of course not.
Well, and it's funny because it's like they don't show you who's delivering this shit when you go to like make the delivery choices. So
no.
Sometimes like you'll have something shipped UPS and then they'll forward it to the post office.
Right.
Had that happen.
This is Amazon. You're thinking, okay, it's going to be in the truck. It
might be an Amazon truck. Yeah.
Right, you're going to see like a picture and everything. No. This is like USPS, which means like it's the slowest boat to China. They don't give two shits
about any of it.
About any of it, and you know they're going to fuck it up. So it's like,
of course they do.
I said that, and I've asked Amazon like 3 different ways about this, and the answer is there's nothing you can do to find out. I'm like, I said to them, I'm like, this is not now a question. This is a suggestion, which is, can you at least make us aware when something is going to ship USPS versus other methods that you guys use? And it's funny because it seems like the answer is no. And I'm like, wow. This is bullshit. This is kind of bullshit. And by the way,
that is kind of bullshit, man.
Every time I've had a problem with something about delivery like this, it's been somebody who delivers USPS off of Amazon.
Ugh.
So, okay, I've had my one rant on Amazon today. Sorry about that. All right, so, Mike, what'd you do for the holiday? How was it for you?
We had a great Thanksgiving.
Did you stuff the bird?
We don't stuff the bird. We make the stuffing separately. So the bird was cooked to perfection. I talked about this earlier, how I was worried about the supply chain and how like the turkey shortage and all that. So I paid way too much for this 20-pound bird, but it turned out great. it was a lot of leftovers. So I've on my 7th turkey sandwich since Thursday night. So I'm done with turkey. I think I'm done. I mean, I had turkey bacon club, so that helped break it up a bit. But I think I'm done
I was
with
going to say
turkey. Lots of leftover turkey, but all the sides are gone. The sides were great. Carol makes a good stuffing. My sister makes the broccoli casserole. So yeah, we had a great Thanksgiving. It was fun. I actually got to sit and relax and watch most of the Macy's parade in the morning on Thursday. That was fun. I got to see the Funko Baby Yoda float, the balloon. Yeah, the baby Yoda balloon. I saw that.
Okay.
But yeah, I was watching some of the parade and then just nice day, and then watch the Chicago Bears team do the thing that they did. But that was that. But I've had a good week. We'll get into all the stuff you and I both watched, but I did watch the Get Back 3-part documentary on Disney Plus.
Okay.
The making
is that on Disney Plus?
That's on Hulu. That's on Disney Plus, and it's 8 hours long.
Wow.
Oh God.
It's 3 parts, 8 hours long. The making of all the leftover footage left over from the Let It Be documentary from May of '70. And Peter Jackson, the guy who did the Lord of the Rings movies, Ivan, he's the one who directed this and produced this. Of course, with the blessing of the Beatles.
Of it being, 8 hours, okay.
Yeah, because his initial cut was 16 hours. Because he just fell in love with all this footage, and he was worried because as growing up as a Beatles fan, they said this really interesting stuff about how, like one day when they're rehearsing at Twickenham, I think it's called.
Twickenham.
John was late to rehearsal, so Paul just sat down and started banging out some chords, and all of a sudden we had Get Back. So it's like how the songs were made, how these great historic Beatles songs were crafted. And you saw other rough cuts of Something and Octopus's Garden, stuff that came from Abbey Road, as well as Let It Be.
Okay.
But it was great, and how they talked about doing this big extravagant special about they were going to go to have this amphitheater in Libya, and but yeah, it was great. It was, if you're if you're just an ancillary Beatles fan, you just watch part 1 just to get the gist of it. But it is the great moments between the band too. Has been another thing Peter Jackson talked about was he's worried about the Twickenham because that's when George walked out. When they were rehearsing at Twickenham, and they went to George's house and tried to smooth things over that weekend, and it didn't go well. And all the Beatles always talked about how they hated Twickenham. So, but there's lots of great bits in there, the great moments, great comedy, especially from John. John was a great joker, little.
He was a big practical joker in the band.
And he also had to, just joshing around between songs, playing different versions, like sped up versions of Two of Us and country versions of Two of Us, and just Paul and John singing through their teeth to each other. But it shows the genius that Paul and John were when crafting these songs.
Question.
Yeah.
When Peter Jackson is having his thoughts on this and he's talking about it, is he walking in the Shire?
No, he's not. No, it has nothing to do with the Hobbits.
Damn it!
There are no Hobbits. Did you ever hear about how the Beatles wanted to be part of the Lord of the Rings movie, where Paul and Ringo were going to be Samwise and Frodo, and George Harrison was going to be Gandalf, and John Lennon wanted to be Smeagol?
Wow.
Yeah, I'd say look that up. But no, actually, Peter Jackson was not on this at all. I watched this interview from Variety after the fact because I was wondering why this footage sat for 50 years because Apple held all this footage, like 150 hours of audio and 60 hours of, or something like that, like tons of hours of all this footage that was unused.
Well, what happened in that whole idea was when Apple fell apart as a label, Okay, when they called Alan Klein in, when they tried to get the album produced, and when Alan Klein was called in, and then his next call was to Phil Spector, and then when they came to the studio, Phil Spector went through thousands and thousands and thousands of feet of musical tape trying to piece this thing together that created their last album. And,
yeah, well, I mean, they were still writing songs for Abbey Road. They haven't released Abbey Road yet.
So
January of '69, when they were filming all this.
Right. But I'm talking, I guess, in the future of those events, because that's what prevailed after all was said and done, and trying to put the whole thing together by the Beatles. None of the Beatles by this point were talking to each other at all. That was the great rumor of, it was Yoko Ono that broke up the band, where in fact Yoko Ono had nothing to do with that whole situation.
Well, but it's great. Another point that during this documentary is that when John is absent, sometimes they'll talk about John, and Paul admits that he and John were together all the time, and now John is with Yoko all the time, and it changes the dynamic of their songwriting. And not to be saying anything bad about Yoko, but just the fact that it's changed. They're changing as people
on the music, right? Yeah. Because now the tapestry has changed.
Yeah, and George talks about how he has got all this backlog of music that's not that he's not able to get out because the songwriting is about 80% John and Paul.
Right, and the publishing laws in England. You talk about red tape here in the recording industry. That's I mean, ours is nothing in comparison to the bullshit they got to work with over there, man.
Yeah.
And not only that, because the fact that the Beatles, by the time everything came to a head, I mean, they were owing so much money, and they ran out so much studio time. They rented out so much time with the cameras and all the other shit, and then nobody. After a while, nobody was minding the story.
Yeah, and by the end, with Apple, of course, and they did. There was one point where the engineer says, they're rolling tape when they moved to the studio. They moved out of Twickenham, and they moved down to the studio where obviously where they were going to do the rooftop concert, but they eventually agreed on that. And the engineer's like, you guys do realize, like, we're charging like 2 shillings a foot. They just say keep rolling, and they're doing other takes, and they finally get takes of certain songs that eventually end up on Let It Be. But it's really good. I enjoy it, and if you got, like I said, I watched like each part per night because parts 1 and 2 are 3 hours, and then part 2 is like 2 hours, or part 3.
Oh, okay.
But it's interesting stuff, and it's still fun to watch them joke around and still be a band and be a cohesive unit, and it's so fun. Like when the dynamic changes so much when Billy Preston comes in.
Oh yeah, well,
and then they start being a band again.
They start goosing up because we got a dude that's now going to put a fire under our asses, and we're going to start.
And how Paul admits that without was it Epstein who died? Yeah, and without him, without the father figure, without the daddy to say, "Come on, lads, you got to get going," they were rudderless. But it was awesome to watch, and I'm glad I did. But I'd say I give it 4 out of 5 yeah-mans. But there are points it was just this point you just got to a little Beatled out. I had a few Beatles earworms in my head today at work, so I think I'm done with the Beatles for now.
So I got to be honest. I've been Beatled out for like about 30, 40 years.
Okay.
Well,
I mean, seriously. Look, they're a great group. The music's great, but I've been done with this Beatles shit for a long time. I mean, seriously, it's like Beatles. It's like. There's been a lot of other music since then. A lot. From a lot of other people. And it's like, the Beatles. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ. And if you say one goddamn thing about, fuck the Beatles, or the Beatles weren't that great. World War III happens.
Yeah,
from like the Beatles snobs, and it's like, or like, I hate to say it, like the boomer crowd who grew up with them, and you're just like, you know what? Go fuck yourself.
I grew up with the cartoon on Channel 44.
Right. I mean, that was fine, but
yeah.
like, as time has gone on, it's like there are other artists. I mean, there are other artists from back in those time frames.
Oh yeah, the Birds and the Stones and.
Well, no, I mean, like there are other major artists from those time frames where I don't feel the same reaction. Like I don't have that reaction to Elvis.
No,
I don't have that reaction to Sinatra. I don't have that reaction to like to those people, and I don't have a problem really with the Stones, other than the fact that at this point you're wheeling out corpses to go play arenas. But okay, if that's what people want to pay for, so be it. But you know, I mean, the Beatles, it's like here we are.
There is,
like,
yeah, they have an ardent fan base. Yes.
What? Well, it's not even that. It's like here we are, like 60 years later. Is it 60?
55, about.
55. Yeah. 55, 60 years later, okay? Here we are.
Going on 60 now.
Right. Yeah. You know, here we are, like 50, well, like almost 50, 60 years later, and there's a part of the population who want to tell you that the greatest music ever happened back in the 60s and the 70s, and everything else has been shit ever since. It's like, go fuck yourselves. Like, it's like, this is bullshit. This really is.
Well, the thing is, you know, like any fan, there you go, fanatic fan. And there it is. It's in the word. Okay, the fanatics who think that nothing else existed before or after the Beatles, which, believe me, there's more of them than people think. And okay, as far as like with Terry Hammert and the program they had here in Chicago talking about breakfast with the Beatles, and then with the whole situation based upon the Beatles, okay, yes, being the boomer in the room and, being a kid in the 1960s, yeah, I mean, it was a huge deal when it happened, but, you know, here it is, you got a bunch of English beat bands just basically taking our rhythm and blues and our soul music and just sounded back to us with an English accent, which is really not that big a sensibility, but it was one that everybody latched on to. And, you know, so, and the thing about it is that the Beatles broke here in Chicago because you had, you know, crazy DJs, you know, playing their records, which were being pressed by a small rhythm and blues company called BJ, because their other big sensibility were the Four Seasons, but that's another story. But at the same time, you know, it was Chicago that brought the Beatles here to the whole sensibility. It was a whole new thing. Yeah, all right, now fast forward to today. Okay, now should it still be of that type of relevance that everything else stops? No, of course not. There were a lot of great bands in the 1960s, both from the UK and from here.
But I mean, I'm not even talking about like the 1960s. Like, I don't. Maybe Mike had a different life experience. Like growing up in the 80s. Like, seriously.
Okay, please. Yeah.
Like, seriously, back in the 80s, like when I was growing up, and it's like, oh, there's the music. It's not the Beatles. Really? Really? Like, it's like, go fuck yourselves. Seriously. It's like, there are serious, and by the way, when I say, and by the way, I should make this clear. It's not just boomers. There are even now,
there's a huge
even now,
community.
Even now, you still have all these music critics. You have music critics, and even the younger, some of the younger ones, like who are in the Gen X's or that, where it's like, oh, you know, the greatest era of music was like back when the Beatles. Oh, go fuck yourselves. Seriously? You know,
there's greatness in all eras.
Well, I think Jeff's just trying to say that the Beatles fans are the loudest in a lot of ways.
Yes, you're right. You're right, Mike. That's absolutely correct.
But it's not just them. It's like they've permeated. I feel like they've permeated the music world And when I say that, like, I don't
based
get
upon
this.
the imagery of the Beatles.
Well, they were a big deal back in the day, and they've
It's like,
inspired.
you know what they remind me of? You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of how Michael Jordan still tries to curate that he's the greatest basketball player of all time. And if you say any
he was
other name,
he was 90s best, yeah.
right? Well, it's like, even, I mean, in fairness, Jordan played. Yeah, okay. Really, in reality, yeah, Jordan was like, for about Jordan. Look, Jordan is no question, in my opinion, he is the greatest. But to sit there and say, okay, that means that LeBron James can't be the greatest is bullshit.
Or Shaq.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, well, okay, that's a little, yeah. All right. No, I'll go along with that. I have my rationale for why I'd be like, Shaq maybe.
Oh, no, but okay, but I'll continue, please.
But yeah, I mean, that's the point. I mean, I think that's where I get frustrated is it's like, it's kind of like that. Like,
yeah,
like,
they have
example,
a legacy
like,
they want to maintain.
Right.
It's kind of like trying to
like in 2009, they remastered all their albums, and I remember playing the Beatles Rock Band on Xbox.
Right.
Well, I mean, you got to also look at all of the merchandising that went into the Beatles.
Right.
And
that's going to happen with Prince as soon as all that legal stuff is all tied up with all the songs that he's got in his vault.
Right, exactly. Once that's cleared away, you're going to see so much merchandising.
Yeah, but even then,
out of that shit. It's going to be fucking crazy.
Hold on a second. But even then,
I'm sorry.
But even then, with all that stuff, like, because there've been some artists that have had stuff in the vault where it's come out, and it still isn't going to be like if they thought, like, when was it? When was it that last time when, like, they found, like, a song that had never been aired that was a Beatles song, and it was by the way, it wasn't good. That Free as a Bird song.
Well, it's like free like a bird or whatever.
Yeah,
Free as a Bird.
It was horrible.
Yeah. When they put out that anthology in the 90s, yeah.
Right. And like,
that anthology, I sit there and I'm like, why? Why did we do this?
Well, you know why? Because it's like,
money.
Well, it goes beyond.
Yeah, I know the bottom line reasoning to it. I get that, Mike and Jeff, but it's just like, yeah, it's a lot of draws for what you're getting.
And see the problem.
Huh?
I'm sorry. This is the part where this is where the Beatles set me off. The Beatles set me off because, like, for example, like, it permeates even now, like. And I know you think the Grammys are shit, and so do I at times. But, like, McCartney hasn't been relevant in current music in decades.
As a solo artist, yeah, I agree.
In decades.
No, I agree with you, too.
And yet, there he is. I can't remember what year it was, and it's been recent. In the 2000s, where it's like, hey, he's up for a whole bunch of, like, things about this great album that, P.S., nobody's fucking heard of. And nobody's heard. And it's like, oh, I guess Paul McCartney put out an album. Maybe it was around 9/11. I don't remember. I can't recall. The point being is, like, it's like, okay, there are other artists who've been around. It's like, and I know it's the Grammys because they have their bullshit and they have their stupid shit that they do. But it's like, really? Seriously?
Okay, here's a point coming from a motion picture I saw called Studio City, and David Grohl, Foo Fighters, Nirvana, okay, and so here it is. He's going to go to the studio that, like, catered to all of these famous people and all this other stuff.
The Sound City, the documentary I watched a few years ago.
Right, exactly. So it was just with this sensibility, you got towards the end of the movie, there's Paul McCartney and David Grohl. And they're all doing this thing together, Yeah,
they wrote a song together.
Right. Okay, but that's cool. That's different. I don't know.
I mean, when you get something like that, and then for the longest time, and then you fart out a single here, you fart out an album there, you end up going on somebody's duet or kind of shit, or maybe you're producing something. But, has he made music that stands up to the things he did as a Beatle? I say no. Not today.
Not even close to the stuff that he did in Wings.
Well, thank you. See, there's my point. I think it's strong in suit. I think pretty much was in the decline into the 70s in the early 80s, and then I think from there it was kind of like, okay. But,
the most relevant thing that he has done in the last decade was it his daughter or his wife or his ex-wife, the one with the limb?
Well, Linda died, and then he married this other girl. Yeah,
right, and she was on Dancing with the Stars. That's the most relevant of anything he's relevant for in the last decade.
Yeah, and then they divorced, and then she was holed up in this house under his property.
Right, and that's the one who was on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, right.
And then let's not forget the thing that I guess keeps bringing the money in. Wonderful Christmas Time.
I'm sure.
My least favorite Christmas song ever.
Yeah.
Probably my least favorite Beatles song as well.
Oh, hey, as long as we're on Christmas music for a second, I have a dilemma.
Okay, sure.
I have a dilemma. I have been asked by someone who I know about trying to create a Whamageddon truce for this year.
Not going to happen.
And I'm like, well, keep in mind, when I say Whamageddon truce, when he's talking Whamageddon truce, you know how I don't really play the game as like everybody else. Because I like Last Christmas, and I think it's a great song. I think it's bullshit that's the one that got chose. And I also think it's bullshit that it's that song, because that song doesn't get played nearly as much as
there's a lot of bad covers of that song, though, too.
Yeah.
And it's like, but here's the thing. It's like, I don't even think it's challenging. Like, if you want challenging, make the song All I Want for Christmas from Mariah Carey.
Yeah, that one's impossible to evade.
Good luck.
That is lightning striking only once when Mariah Carey came out with that.
But why do we have to pick
it's back up on the charts on iTunes again this year.
Of course it is.
The song's been out for 27 years.
Are you kidding me? On November 1st, Mariah Carey puts out an Instagram video being like, it's Christmas season. Of course it's Christmas season. You make millions every
She's still
year.
it's still the most downloaded ringtone in history.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, you're making, of course November.
She's making good coin.
It's like, you know what?
Oh, yeah.
She might not even like Christmas in November, but she's doing it because guess what? That's like bucks.
Yeah, she's
ever.
Yeah.
So the money's in. We're making 10. We're here to give you more.
Like November 1st, it's like cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Yeah. What's that? Okay. Oh, it's Christmas time. All I want for Christmas. All right, she don't have to do anything the rest of her damn life.
Nope.
And she's like a multi-platinum artist, and it's like, yep, okay, I'm good. They can
hit that bong, Ivan.
Yes.
Yes.
So anyway, the point being is this person is like, you will not do stuff that can get me that cannot get me whammied. And I'm like, how would you like me to do that? Because usually I'm doing this on social media, and I'm doing this in places.
Whammied?
Right.
Yeah, the Whamageddon.
Oh, okay.
Because the objective of the game is not to be able to recognize or hear Last Christmas by Wham. And I think this bullshit, so I purposely put it on like just about fucking everything in the month of December.
I can't stand that Beatles Christmas song. I fucking hate that song.
Nope.
So anyway, Get Back. It's on Disney Plus. I'd say try part 1. If you don't like it, don't finish it. But I liked it.
All right. Well, that sounds like an adventure.
Okay.
It's like what's longer, that or like the Lord of the Rings at this point?
The extended Lord of the Rings is much longer than.
Oh, is it?
I think it's like 12 hours.
Yeah.
Oh God. Does Peter Jackson make anything short anymore?
No.
Is he like trying to overcompensate for the fact of like a lack of penis or something? I don't know.
He just likes really long movies.
My gosh. How does he go to the bat? What does he do about
that? People get immersed, man. You know, the imaginations. They just
intermission.
get immersed.
I think they Didn't we have an
there was
intermission
no
for any of the Lord of the Rings
intermission.
movies?
No, there was not.
No, there were none.
There were none.
There were none.
So yeah, watched.
You're there for 3 fucking hours. Yeah.
So we'll get to later all the stuff you and I both watched together, but
3 hours after you've had the Mondo Coke.
Okay, the Mondo Coke and the gigantic fucking popcorn.
Either you're doing the dance or you're gonna have to get a pair of depends.
You're doing like the pee-pee dance. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. You're doing the wiggles, man. You know, just like
maybe he's bragging about his bladder control.
Maybe.
You like Peter Jackson be all like, I've got great bladder control, and you people have to sit through my 3-hour film. Ah.
That was the only reason I looked at any spoilers for Avengers Endgame was literally.
When can I go to the bathroom?
Exactly. Like seriously, like after it came out, because I knew I wasn't going to see it right exactly in the beginning.
You got to fast to get to watch them kind of movies.
Yeah.
I'm like seriously, it's like seriously, I Googled, like, when can I pee in Avengers Endgame? And, like, it's like, all right, here's what you're looking for, that you have enough time that you can run to the bathroom and get back and be fine. Right. And you will miss nothing.
So, and I also watched on Paramount Plus, they had the South Park post-COVID special. And that was okay. It was funny. It was okay. Whereas... Like they say, you know, Stan's watching TV and like, you know, the pandemic is almost over, and they fade out and it's Stan's like 40 years old and he's watching TV and you know it's like so yeah, it's like they go back to South Park because Kenny had become a billionaire. He was trying to go back in time to stop the pandemic from happening, but he died. Kenny's dead. Oh no, But one of the funniest part is that Cartman becomes a rabbi, and
wow,
and marries a woman named Yentl, and has 3 little Jewish kids, and Kyle's convinced that he's just doing it just to mess with him. Like, I've become a rabbi, Kyle, and he's like, "No, you're not. You're just fucking with me." So. But it was alright. I had some good funny parts in it. Of course, it's a continuation because that's what they've done the last 3 years. But it's the future. But that was okay. And of course, you know, watched Hawkeye, Master of the Universe Part 2, and Yellowstone. We'll get to those later. So, Ivan, how was your Thanksgiving weekend?
Thanksgiving was real quiet, to be honest with you. We kind of kept it low key and. You know, just stayed around the homestead and just, we just did our groovy thing as we progressed forward. And, we're hoping to be within a day or so of getting the keys to the new apartment. Yay, real happy about that. And so we're going to start breaking things down over at this end. And, of course, I already announced that we're going to be doing a couple of shows this week, you know, and then after December 1st, I'm not going to be on social media or anything for a little while because, you know, well, obviously I got to pack all this shit and move, but I'm hoping to have everything together, with no snafus, of course.
When do you have to be out of the old place?
Well, right now, as it looks, there is no time on it just yet. Okay, because I haven't heard the information from CHA, but I'm sure we'll probably get the standard 30 days.
So you'll got till the end of the year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
well, that's good.
And then with that sensibility being said, let's see. Then of course. Otis is doing much better, thank God. He had a virus that was that went into his system and it started breaking his white cells down, and it pretty much took down all of his immunities. And we were both very sad about this whole thing, especially the fact that Julie researched it and found that 90% of the cats that get this don't survive. So it was a pretty intense time. But then a couple days later, we got the news that he was eating and that he was doing fine and that he reacted to the antibodies, and then of course we got him on probiotics now, and he'll be like that. And then of course today, previous to the recording of this session, we took Marley in and got him up to snuff on all of his shots, and he's doing real well. And so that takes a week away from Marley and Otis being in the same room. Otis is in kind of a quarantine right now because we want to make sure everything he takes with his medicine just stays in. But he's progressing nicely. He's gotten back to his bounce. He's got a spring in his step. He's been in my lap. He's got beautiful reactions, and he's purring. He's very excited. He's got a lot of energy, which makes for happy. So I'm blessed about that. Then I did the dedication to my father. Live with my dad's music, which basically would be, done in 1977 when I was a young novice. I was running around with a one-track reel-to-reel machine and one microphone in those days when I was old, and my dad's friend Luis Benaldi, who was a well-known Puerto Rican cuatro musician. Cuatro is the brand of guitar he would play, and he came to town and he got caught up with my dad and said, "Hey, why don't we go and let's do a jam session?" And so I ran upstairs and I grabbed my rig and I brought it down and I hastily put everything together and clicked in, threw the headphones on, and pushed the record button, and off it went. And so here it is, all these years later, running across the tape. I felt a year after my father passing away, what better way would be to share my dad's voice, and at least it gives everybody that sensibility that my dad's voice was not silenced. That yes, he's gone, but he's not all the way gone.
Yeah, but you've got a lot of audio of him in your archives.
Yes. Oh yes, I do. I have a great many different elements of my father in the archive, and I've got I got the one time that my dad came to pick me up from the radio station, and I got him to say a few words on the air, and there were just other such things, so that was I did one. I did part one. Part two is going to be this upcoming Saturday, December 4th, and for if you want to hear some more Puerto Rican folklore, popular music, and Christmas songs, which my dad and the family used to do, around this time of year. I mean, my father loved Christmas. He loved, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. Those were his times. He'd come out, he'd bring out his guitar, and he would just start singing and playing and just going about it. He was that person, and it's just I was just very fortunate to, I guess it all became, being at the right place at the right time, and so to be able to give that back to the family and to people who send you nice messages saying that they enjoyed what your father did and how he sang and how he played it, it's a blessing. So I was very, very, very cool about that. And what else? Nothing else. Well, no, nothing else really. Just kind of kicking on back and just trying to get everything together and get ready for the new rig, the new gig. I'll be out at Cafe Mustache on Friday, December 3rd.
You doing any dates at the Hanukkah Crack House?
Let's see. I think that'll be December 18th. Yeah.
You've only got a few days left before Hanukkah's over.
Oh yes.
You got to get your dates at the Hanukkah Crack House.
Yeah. I got the good Klezmer music.
Somehow I have a feeling that'll be available to be played out multiple times whenever they want.
Oh, sorry.
Hey!
Hey!
Mamushka.
Hey!
Babushka.
Rest in peace, Raul Julia.
Yes.
So, so anything else? Did you watch any shows, any movies, or anything? Ivan? No.
Yeah. What's on Boomer TV?
Yeah. you hit your Disney Plus yet?
No, I haven't gotten around to that.
He's got 8 hours of shit to watch now.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is, yeah, it's right now. It's just kind of crazy, but I'll get around to it. I will. But aside from that, yeah, because now I got to start packing everything. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll see where where the coins lay, where they may. Anyway, but other than that, yeah. Speaking of things you want to watch, hey guys, I know you guys got some things you've watched.
Yeah, we do. We'll get into it later in the show.
Okay.
But Jeff, how was your Thanksgiving? I saw you posted something on you were heading out the door to your relative's house. Something about Holy Spirit. Heading out Thursday. How did your Thanksgiving go?
For the most part, it went okay.
Okay.
It went all right. Enough was made for a small army that didn't exist.
Yeah.
And
can relate. Lots of leftovers.
And it's kind of weird because, it turns into, my aunt, my mom, and then people who are friends of my aunt and my mom who may have nothing to do. And so it kind of turns into this, oh, good, old people conversation. And I'm the only guy here. So I'm like, oh God.
Just go in the other room and watch the football.
That's kind of what I got away with.
Go through the side door with your cousin and come back with your eyes.
There are no cousins. No. There are no cousins. Unless you're talking about the dog. That's evil. Sick bastard.
No, he's talking about the meme I posted on the Ivan's Jive Tribe about you and your cousin going for a walk before Thanksgiving dinner, and to come back all
That was so good. That was so good.
No, no hanky panky, no kissing cousins, Ivan. No,
no. I'm not talking about that jazz, man.
No two dogs with a cat taking a selfie.
Oh, come on, let's not do that on that.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. So, it was weird because it was it turned into kind of a whole, eating weekend because I had a buddy of mine who was we're going to do
Friendsgiving.
Friends Thanksgiving on Friday.
Yep.
And then I ran an RPG. I ran an RPG for them. And, sometimes you're just I'm going to let them do whatever the hell they want. And then you're okay, so their objective seems to be to get their asses kicked and killed. All right.
And Jeff can oblige.
Well, it's it's we're supposed to be trying to have a good time. Do you guys really want me to kill you? I mean, I can. I can. Is that the objective in the plan? Because you guys keep I keep hinting which door to hit. You're it's here's door number 1. Here's door number 2. That's totally electrified. Hey, let's see what's in door number 2. Are you sure? Yeah. Are you sure? Yeah. Let's go there. Okay. Or even better, it's here's door number 1, here's door number 2. Let's go back to where we came from and start all over again. What the fuck? It's by the end of the thing, I'm what are you doing? What are you doing? And it's sometimes when you deal with players, it's the logic train doesn't go all the way to the top. Really doesn't go all the way to the top. And it's
you're not thinking this through.
Well, it's not even.
If this were real, that you're in danger.
Yeah,
it's not even. The worst part is it's okay. Sometimes, as the person who wrote the event, you sit there and you go, okay, I wasn't thinking about that. That might work. Okay, this isn't that at all.
Oh,
this is. I'm listening to their logic, and I'm literally sitting there, and I'm no. No, that doesn't work at all on any level. Not only does it not work on any level, it's pretty much leading you down the path of death and destruction. And I don't mean of them, I mean of you. And so that was weird on Friday night, because I literally was just like, at the end I was like, okay, here's how you don't die. I literally had to be like, okay, so here's how the module has to end so you all don't die. So I guess we're done. Anyway, and then I did meet up with some friends of mine from California who we were at Wildfire, and and so that was kind of cool. And then Sunday night was Hanukkah, and then Sunday afternoon I was very, very happy for about 3 hours. I was really, really happy for like 2.5 hours, and then I was pissed.
And then Tom Brady was winning.
Fuck you, Tom Brady, and your Gronk. Fuck you, motherfucker.
He's with the Hertz commercials. Let's go, he says.
Fuck you.
Tom Brady says, let's go.
It's like, seriously. And the worst part is, they're just self-inflicting all these wounds on themselves as a team, as the Colts are. And I'm like sitting there, and I'm literally sitting there, and it's like, we're tied. And I'm looking at the clock, and I'm going, well, in theory, there should be enough time for us to get the ball back after Tom Brady screws us like a fucking $2 whore at the Jewish gingerbread crack house. Okay? No, he's figured out how to run the clock down, so we're not going to have any fucking time. In typical fucking Tom Brady, fuck you motherfucker, fuck you motherfucking Colts fashion, as he always does. Okay, because, by the way, he this isn't like the first time he's done this to the Colts. He's done this for like a decade. A decade. Oh, no. The Colts should have more world championships. You want to know why they don't have more world championships? Motherfucking Tom Brady. That's why. That's why. Fuck him, fuck the Patriots, fuck them all. Okay? Like, seriously, in other towns, in other places, like Tom Brady's on the Buccaneers, and everybody's like, everybody's like, well, I guess we can forgive him. In Indianapolis, fuck that shit. No, we know who the fuck you are, you piece of garbage. You deflating motherfucker. Fuck you.
Well,
we know exactly who you are. Wow. So there they are, of course. And it was like, really, you gave them the ball, and you made a tie game, and you didn't leave yourself enough fucking time. And the scary part is, they almost ran one back for a touchdown and tied it back up again. And I'm like, God, fucking dick. Well, okay, you have 5 turnovers, you're not gonna fucking win. It's just that goddamn simple. And the scary part is they almost still did. And it's like, you fuckers. I can't believe it. Fucking Tom Brady. Fuck you, mother.
So did the Colts win?
No! No, they didn't win. Bullshit. Fuck you, Tom Brady. You fucking bastard.
Never drive a Hertz car ever again.
Fucking Tom Brady.
By the way, I want to point this out for the record, and the two of you have known me a long time. Yeah. I don't get this angry about the Packers, do I?
No.
Although
I do.
That's why I laugh.
You've had some moments, but no, nothing like this, though.
Right. Oh, no. It's funny. I have friends of mine who do not understand. It's like, well, you really hate the Packers. No. I hate the Patriots and Tom Brady. And they're like, well, you really go after Packer fans. I'm like, you really don't understand. Like, guess what? And by the way, here, you know when you're going to hear this, when you're going to possibly hear this rant again?
Yeah.
In about 3 weeks.
Okay, why?
Unless we're off. Because guess who's coming to play on prime time in Indianapolis on the 18th of December?
Tom Brady?
No.
The Patriots.
No. The motherfucking Patriots and Bill motherfucking Cheatin' Belichick.
Oh, no.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right?
Okay.
And now the Patriots are suddenly good again. Yeah. Fuck you little fuckers. We're gonna beat the shit out of you too. You little fucking dogs. God, I hate those guys. Hate them. Anyway, so yeah, for the most part, So it was funny because we went like for Hanukkah dinner and everybody's like, oh, and my aunt and my mom were like, oh, it's so great, it's so wonderful. I'm like, fuck you, fuck this.
Yeah, after the Colts loss, he just got to go and be nice at dinner time.
Yeah, that was. Yeah. It's like
not happening in an easy way.
Well, it's like, and it was really funny. It's like, I gotta get me one fucking Hanukkah present. You know what that Hanukkah present was to be? Fucking beat Tom Brady. Beat him. Jesus.
Oh, even
really? Really? Wait, we haven't even gotten to the fun part. This is the reason why. This is why Mike's laughing and Ivan's not laughing nearly as hard. Guess who was winning for 3/4 of the game?
The Colts.
By a lot.
Yeah.
The Colts.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it. We gave up a 10 goddamn point lead.
Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh, yeah, that would make for ugly. Yeah, I can see what you mean.
P.S. Think about here. Let's just put this in perspective. So the Colts have the best running back right now in the league. Let's put this in perspective, so Ivan will understand it. Imagine if the 85 Bears were in a tight game, and somewhere at some point, Mike Ditka stopped using Walter Payton for almost an entire quarter.
What?
Yeah, that happened yesterday.
Get the fuck out.
That happened yesterday.
Get the fuck out of here.
It's like you could run the football sometime. I mean, I understand you might not get much. And I understand. At one point, they passed the ball 26 times in a row. 26 in a row!
Okay.
You have plenty of time. It's like, I understand we're not getting a lot of yardage right now. They're focusing on the run. Okay, they're focusing on the run. It's like, you gotta try at some point. You gotta try. And here's the best part. When we tied the game, what did we do? Oh, we did a 10-play drive. What did we do on those 10 plays? Let's see. What did we do for 9 of them? Oh, we ran the ball!
Okay. Okay.
It's like literally it's like, hey, coach, we got the number 1 running back in the league. Oh yeah, I forgot. Let's fucking run him. God,
and Jeff Stein, the armchair director, just foiled again.
It's not even armchair. It's just like, I'm happy. Okay, I'm starting to not be so happy. Okay, we got plenty of time. All right, fine, we're losing. We have plenty of time. This is easily doable. What the fuck are we doing?
This sounds like the worst case of mental masturbation. Up, down, up, down.
Oh, no, we were up, then we're down. It's like, all right, we're down. No big deal. All right, and then it's like you're sitting there looking at the clock going, did we leave ourselves enough time not to truly get butt-fucked by Tom Brady? And the answer to that question was no. No, you didn't. Idiots.
Wow.
And the best part, and the worst part is
it the best part or the worst part?
Well, yes, both. The both is
so
now we're down by a touchdown. You got 20 seconds left. I'm like, this game is over. No. The guy runs the ball back. And all of a sudden, it looks like he's going to run it all the way back and tie the game. And I'm like, Until, he gets hit by an arm tackle and gets knocked out. And it's like a 71-yard run instead of a full-on. He didn't make it the whole way. And I'm like, shit! God damn it!
Wow.
I'm like, son of a bitch. Anyway, all right. So that was most of, and then Sunday night I did the holiday stories. We didn't get the turnout I thought we would, and it was kind of short. We didn't get a lot of stories. I was kind of bummed, but we had a good time. But
good.
Yeah, it was kind of a short room. I was surprised. Some people didn't show up, or I don't know, maybe they were just tired, or who knows. But
yeah, it's been a long, 4-day weekend.
I guess
winded down.
Yeah, people are still coming out of their food coma.
Yeah, I finished part 3 of Get Back, and I almost forgot that Yellowstone was on last night. So,
so really fast, 2 things I saw that Mike didn't, that I figured I'll mention. One is I watched 8-Bit Christmas, the 8-Bit Christmas movie on HBO Max.
Okay.
How
was it?
It's from the creators of Elf. I liked it. I liked it a lot, but one of the reasons I liked it a lot, and you guys are going to laugh at this, so it's pretty much based on a family in the 1980s who lived in Batavia, Illinois.
Okay.
So you get, like, they go to the Jewels. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Or they're going to the store and they have to go into the city. And he gets cut off. He's like, fucking Wisconsinite, fuck the Packers. And I'm like, yes. It's like this. Whoever wrote this clearly grew up in Chicago, in the Chicago area, in the 80s. So it's like, yeah, no, there's certainly a feel of. But the best way to put it is, so this movie's kind of like. If you took a Christmas Story and you mixed it with The Princess Bride and The Sandlot, and then you added in a sprinkle of Jingle All the Way.
All right.
It's entertaining. I don't know if it's going to be a Christmas classic. It was certainly entertaining.
It's on HBO Max. I'll check it out.
It's on HBO Max.
Well, do you feel it should be there, Jeff?
No, but I could see some people putting it there.
Okay.
I would say it's about a 3 or a 3.5.
That's pretty good.
It was entertaining.
Well, if you could see it for free, then okay.
It was yeah, there you go. There's the real answer. If I had to pay for this movie, I'd be pissed. I wouldn't have been happy. I'll tell you now, even matinee prices, I would not have been happy. But free, it was just fine. Free was great. I was happy with it. If I had to pay for it, not so much.
Yeah.
The other thing is, so season 2 of the new Saved by the Bell is out on Peacock. The first episode, they do a tribute to Dustin Diamond, or I should say Screech. But I think the most interesting thing was something I saw this past episode, in which they have now made the movie Showgirls part of Saved by the Bell canon and Jesse Spano's life.
Really? That was her? Did they think they're saying that was her?
Yeah.
Showgirls?
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
Oh.
They literally go there. There's a point where and when I say literally go there, so Jesse is now about to be single again, and her and Callie and Lisa are talking, and she's like, well, I haven't really flirted with anybody. She's like, well, find your wild side. You mean like my Vegas? Like, she's like, well, there was that stint I did in Las Vegas. And she starts there, and at first you're like, okay, that'll be the only thing they mention. She walks over there. She walks over there, and like all of a sudden she kind of dresses like her character from Showgirls. She's kind of dressed like that, and then she goes over and does like a pole dance.
Whoa!
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, we have now made Showgirls
part of the Saved by the Bell cinematic universe.
Saved by the Bell cinematic universe, and I'm like, what just happened?
Wow.
And I wasn't going to bring it up, except I saw this afternoon, and I'm like, did that really just happen? Did they really just make Showgirls part of the Saved by the Bell canon universe?
Apparently so. So yeah, Screech died earlier this year.
Right, Dustin Diamond.
So yeah, they had a tribute to him. So
it is. I'm through a few episodes. I haven't fully got done with it. It's entertaining. I don't know if I would say it's spectacular, but it's entertaining, and they're half hours. That's the nice part about like a show like that. It's like, okay, if you're looking for something mindless, or you want to be doing other things and you're looking for something that's going to like keep your attention while you're doing something else, it's that kind of show. And so, not bad. Oh, the other thing was, and this is the only other thing, which is
attention span deficient.
Well, so the only other thing is that, and Ivan, I don't know if you saw this or not, but I told Mike, by the time this show is over that we're done recording tonight, so Hulu had a deal this is one of the few deals I picked up on for the whole holiday type thing, which is Hulu was literally offering 1 year of service for 99 cents a month.
Right.
So $12 for like the year. And I'm
I picked up on that. I
did.
Oh, I know you did, but I don't know if Ivan did. So
I did.
On a whim.
You got Hulu, Ivan?
Not yet, but I saw the special. So
the special's over. So.
No, but I think tonight.
Oh, okay.
I think you can still do it tonight if he gets it before midnight. But
yeah, that's a good deal.
I watched the first episode of Animaniacs from the first season, and I gotta tell you, I was kind of disappointed. I was midway through the second episode, and I was like, yeah, I gotta tell you.
The spark is gone, the magic's gone?
I'm gonna try it again. It was late. But I'm like, yeah, I'm really not. I'm not feeling this.
No?
I mean, I'll give it a shot.
It had come out, and then I heard nobody talk about it, so.
Well, I heard a few people talk about it, like, oh my God, it was pretty good. And again, because part of it, it's a bigger thing, but, yeah, I will give it a little bit more, a few more episodes, and in fairness, there's a season 2 that just came out, so maybe those will be better. I don't know, but so far I'm like, eh.
Did you or anyone you know get some Black Friday deals, Ivan?
Black Friday deals? No, nothing.
No?
Nothing that I know of.
Didn't go hit the stores and no fights over televisions or anything like that?
No, nothing like that. I was just going to give Jeff my opinion on that whole situation with the Animaniacs, and I just saw like the rushes, like the commercials, the drops. And for me, I just thought that, they were just trying way too hard. Trying to spark the thing that left years and years and years ago. See, and they waited too long on that. It's what they did. And not only that, there's a lot of things that in the original Animaniacs would not be considered PC today. So, so I'm sure, I'm sure I'm sure a lot of it, it's like the wackiness kind of toned down, or it just doesn't come across, or what.
Again, I've only seen 1.5 episodes, and the first episode is so meta, it's kind of ridiculous. Like, literally, they're talking about, they're like literally on their first lines talking about, what are we going to use our first lines for? And I'm like, okay, kind of cute, but all right. And then literally it's like, you guys have been gone for 20-something years. Obviously, you don't know what's been going on. And then they do a whole bit about remakes and reboots, and they have a song even about it. And then in the end, when they're done with the song, somebody from Hulu walks up and goes, yeah, but here's your check. And it's like, woohoo! With a big Hulu sign behind them. And it's like, I'm making it sound funnier than it was. But, like, literally, it was like, it's kind of like, so you did a whole big musical number about remakes and reboots, and they're kind of sort of making fun of them a little bit. And then, ironically, you're a remake and a reboot, and now you're going to admit who you are, which is sort of funny, but not really. Not really. After you kind of feel like you just gave us this kind of judgy, lecture-y song.
The bottom line is that it's about the money.
Well, and it's funny, they kind of do admit a little of that. I don't know. Again, I'll give it a little bit more time.
You give it another chance.
I'm giving it a little bit of more opportunity. And again, for all I know, what I almost should probably do is go watch the beginning of season 2, because obviously there's no continuity. Because I would imagine they may have got the kinks out from season 1. And by the way, that's the other thing that I kind of found myself missing. I kind of found myself missing all of the peripheral characters.
Right, like Chicken Boo and all the other skits,
Yeah, I kind of found myself missing, like, Buttons and Mindy and Slappy Squirrel and some of the... Mix. Right. Well, Minerva Mix was as much of a character in that show as you think she was. I mean, she was there, but never to the point of like where. Oh
no! I mean, she was put under fire real fast. I mean, Warner, they put her out there and it was overtly sexual. So here it is. They're like, I think we really pushed the envelope. So poof.
Yeah, that's the one that floats to the top for Ivan. So that's
right. Well, of course it does.
Well, yeah. Well, they were well done. They were saucy. They were, they were, like I said, pushing of the envelope, which the original Animaniacs were known for that, pushing the envelope. That's what made that. First series so good.
You seem to remember her being more in some of those weird cameos that they would do here or there, and I don't. I remember it pretty much being like the pigeons or Brain.
Oh yeah, no, you talk about the pigeons with the accent, yeah,
or those characters, and I don't remember her being even in the early days like. Like, it was funny, like, I know it's early in the season. It's like, I'm only an episode and a half in, but it was like, all right, where's the Wheel of Morality? I could use that. I could use that. In fairness, I will say, before they do the whole thing about the opening lines, they do have a thing where they spoof Jurassic Park, where, like, they do, like, what's his name's character?
Chris Pratt's. From Jurassic
No, not
World?
Chris Pratt. No, the original.
Jeff Goldblum?
No, he's there too, but like they kind of spoof that whole beginning thing about like, oh my God, it's a Warner brother and the Warner sister. And like Spielberg's there, it's like, we're bringing back Pinky and the Brain. You have a Pinky and the Brain? They do like that whole thing, like with the Jurassic Park music.
Well, with Laura Dern and what's his name?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Sam O'Neill or Sam whatever his name is.
Sam Neill.
Like that's how they really opened the show.
Okay.
And it's like, I don't know. I just was like, I mean, it was kind of amusing when they did it at the beginning, but it's like, okay, this is a little overkill.
Like I said, they just tried too hard. It's overkill.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it gets better as the season goes on. Who knows? So that's kind of my that's kind of my weekend, and fuck you, Tom Brady. So anyway.
So yeah.
Oh, and I do need you guys' advice actually. So what am I going to do about this Whamageddon? What am I going to do about this Whamageddon thing? Because I have somebody who's like, please don't try to get me out, and I'm like, but okay. But the problem is, I'm trying to get other people out that aren't you.
I don't know. Maybe try.
And it's different. Like, I mean, the problem becomes, the answer to that is don't try to get anybody out. And it's like, but then you're taking away
just remain neutral like Switzerland.
Yeah, fuck that. No way.
You don't always have to take a side.
Okay.
Yeah, but I want to be the.
You like Wham? You like the song from Wham?
Yeah.
But you got people who we all like.
Are like trying to play this game and not listen to it. It's like I want to be the asshole with the red dodgeball who hits people for no good reason. It was like, got you.
Well, then there's no other choice then but to tag them in a post, and when they least expect it.
You know, the problem is if I do that, they'll catch it. I hate to tell you how I got most of them last time. Was literally, and I don't think I even caught this. Like most of my story posts in December included music, and of course, no matter what the post was, guess what music was underneath?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Last Christmas by Wham.
Right.
Every single time. And I'm like, and that's how I got people. Like the first few days, people are like, "You're a dick."
Then it's
I'm like,
time to spring. Then it's time to set the trap and spring it when they least expect it.
Oh, absolutely! Right. I'm half tempted to do it. I'm half tempted to do it at midnight on December 1st, and like find a way to put it in there. It's like, and be like, "Got you, motherfucker." Because the best part is like I did put it out like recently, like the other day, and I'm like, because I know it's like, well, none of you are technically playing now, so ha ha ha. But yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so I guess we can get into.
By the way, Mike, just so I'm clear, because you know the rules better than I do. It has to be the original, right? It cannot be like
it can't be a cover. No, it has to be the original Wham song.
See, this is
Wham.
bullshit. This is bullshit because the problem is people know what the video looks like. That's the problem.
Well, it depends on what part of the.
Then just don't use the video. Just got to use the song and put it under an Instagram post.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, now that I have Instagram, this will be much easier.
Yeah.
And sneakier.
Yeah, I think that'd be the way to go.
So.
Hit them with a reel.
So I guess we can get into what we saw this week.
Yeah, sorry.
So on Wednesday, I think it was Wednesday, the Master of the Universe Part 2 dropped. And so I binged that in one day. I was off and on during the day, but I got it all done on Wednesday because I knew that.
Did you feel like seriously, like when I went to go watch it, I was like, wait, I'm already through 3 episodes. I'm almost done.
I know. I thought there were going to be like at least 6, but I was like, yeah, I'm 4 episodes in. And I posted about watching it, and I said, yeah, I'm 4 episodes in. And episode 5 was the last one.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm done then, I guess.
I just felt like it was a fast watch.
At least it was concise. I felt it had a good flow to it.
Right.
It didn't meander. You know, you saw all these pontifications and all these great character beats with these all various people, whether it be Man-at-Arms and Evelyn talking, or He-Man and Skeletor talking. But yeah, it was, and of course the feral He-Man was pretty cool. I like that part where without the sword, he was all like the Hulk, you know.
You mean the Hulk? I was gonna say the Hulk smash He-Man.
Yeah, right. Smash He-Man, Hulk smash He-Man, right. No, it was great. I liked it better than I thought, but I was just so pissed off when I saw that trailer that I told you as soon as that trailer dropped, I warned you, don't watch this trailer.
I didn't.
Okay, you good, because you know what was in it? Orko's voice. That pissed me off. That it was cool that Orko came back in the way he did, because when she destroyed Preternia or whatever, the Valhalla or whatever you want to call it, the afterlife for the heroes. But Orko's voice was, you guys said, you're in for it now, or whatever he said. That they put that in the Part 2 trailer, and that pissed me off. It was like I would have liked that as better as a surprise for them to bring him back in that regard, in that way.
I wonder how many people caught that was his voice, though.
Oh, we knew. I mean, it was the only, when that trailer dropped, I was like, yeah, I would have liked without that trailer. And it was pretty gruesome the way Fisto and Clamp Champ died. I was like, holy shit, they're freaking dead, and they're like mindless zombies, and they have to destroy their bodies because
that's the part that. That's the part that you remember the most?
There was a bit of... That was what... Of course, when Fisto says, I'd sure like to fist him.
No, I mean, I'm sitting there, it's like, okay, do I need to play some Barry White for Skeletor and Evelyn here?
Oh yeah, there was a bit of a. She was
I mean,
there was a trick where she
seriously,
was trying to seduce him, and she like climbed down his lap, and I'm like, holy shit!
We're going full on heavy metal almost here.
Yeah.
I mean, damn.
Some of those, although I didn't like when Evelyn like became the sorceress of Grayskull, and then she had like Ivan. You okay?
My name is Grayskull.
Okay. Yeah. But I didn't like the bat head on her. I did like the final form, like when she was like, when she was like tapped into the full power without Skeletor. But yeah, the stupid bat head was
I just
dumb.
want Ivan to watch like the sexual mac out moment between Evelyn and Skeletor.
It was only for a few seconds, and it wasn't class. I mean, there was.
I was just doing a little Barry White. You called for it. So
I'm like, so Mike, I'm watching this like late at night on like Thursday night, and I'm like, and it's like I feel like I'm watching like, it's like all of a sudden there's a start, and I'm like,
the scene didn't even last like 30 seconds.
I know, but I'm like, are we really gonna go here?
Yeah, they
like,
did.
Well, it's like. How far are we planning on going? How far are we planning on going?
I'll show you my bone.
Yeah. Like seriously, I was like, are we gonna like?
Yeah, and she did kind of trick him into getting his sword. So, but it was cool. I liked what they did with it. I'm looking forward to the season 2 they're gonna make. They teased Hordak, and I was cool with what they did with Motherboard. With Triclops and Trapjaw, that was cool. I like this Master Universe series.
Okay.
I will say, I think this might be some of Kevin Smith's best work that I've ever seen him do.
He was a co-writer and executive producer.
I mean, and we're talking about, now in fairness, I never read his Daredevil, which I know is very, very good. But of the things I'm aware of, whether it be his movies or his comics, this is right up there. This is right up there as some of, this is the kind of stuff where it's like, okay, this is where, I give Kevin Smith a lot of shit about where he reigns in the nerd world in some regards sometimes, about whether he deserves his standing. And here's an example of, where he earns it.
Yeah.
He earns it. He earns the title where he's at when he creates great material like this.
When he's surrounded by people who are passionate about this particular, maybe he may not be the most learned, nor am I the most. I'm not a trivia nerd about Masters of the Universe. I don't know all the He-Man characters and all the obscure people. The characters are crazy, the action figures that they made just to sell a toy line. And even like the chapter for episode 5 of part 2, even it says like includes all did you see here or whatever, like with like a toy commercial catchphrase. Mm-hmm. So they know that this comes from just a goofy toy line, but you've created this lore and these, and you've surrounded this. You've built this show, which was just the filmation was pretty much cookie cutter celery usage, just sell a new toy every 20 minutes every week. But this project had some good character beats, some good writing. I got the feels a little bit a couple times.
Yeah, no, they do a good job of.
Yeah, this was definitely a good watch. Of course, free on Netflix, so can't complain about the price. But I enjoyed it a lot.
Right,
I'm looking forward to what they do with Hordak.
And I think it's like they give you just enough to take it seriously, and it's good, and it's solid storytelling, and at the same time they don't forget what it is and where it came from and what this was about, and yet it's still true to the story. Somebody could not be a big Masters of the Universe fan and enjoy this and walk away with it and going, hey, that was really pretty cool.
Yeah. And in retrospect now, after what happened with the backlash about making the story about Teela in part 1 and He-Man being dead most of the time in part 1, we see a lot more He-Man in part 2, and some might argue that was a response to the backlash of Part 1, but Part 2 was already in the can getting made by the time Part 1 was released, so that's moot.
I could still see some people who might be upset about the fact that, honestly, probably the really big battle was, in the end, was Evelyn and Teela, not He-Man. And I could see some people being upset about that. At the same time, it's like, all right. I mean, and in fairness, here's the interesting part. This series wasn't called He-Man.
No, it's called the Masters of the Universe Revelation.
Right. And so if you look at it from that perspective, then He-Man has been the star before. But if you look at it from that perspective, then really in reality, you can look at it as from a different place, a different perspective.
Yeah, and we see we see a lot more of Prince Adam, which is a much more interesting character than He-Man.
Well, and that's the other thing, is that, they have allowed him to build out the character, and we get to know a lot more about that character, whether he be, I hate to say it, Kevin Smith followed a lot of what Mark Ruffalo and the MCU did in terms of exploring the differences between Bruce Banner and the Hulk, and how do they coexist. And the only difference is He-Man and Adam were always never like the level of the Hulk and Bruce Banner. So, I mean, it was never that. I mean, if anything, it was always, there were the jokes, and, there were the jokes.
Yeah, it was a lot of that Marvel kind of LOL humor.
Well, no, when I say the jokes, in the 90s, there was that joke of, all of a sudden he goes from little scrawny boy to, I have the power and I look like some beefcake guy. Yeah. And it's like, I've got a secret, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, like as in, like the gay community was like, I bet you do, big boy. Complete with sword and stuff. Yeah. I raised my sword. I bet you do. There was a period where the gay community kind of was like, is He-Man our guy?
But yeah, you can tell that like Kevin Smith is. Some of the action scenes I think were borrowed from superhero films. I think the one scene where, what's her name? Ardra, I think, the Teela's friend.
Yeah.
She uses like almost the trick that Tony did in the Iron Man 2, where he spins around halfway and cuts through a bunch of dudes surrounding her. It's totally from Iron Man 2.
She felt like in the second part, like she wasn't really needed or necessary.
No, I think she needed a little bit more to do in part 2.
Right.
She was. Teela's companion, Teela was bouncing off of dialogue from her a lot in part 1. In part 2, we had less of that because Teela was dealing with much more shit, which was like finding out about her mother, the sorceress, and her relationship with her father, and all that. So.
Right, and at the time they only had really one person to bounce off of conversation with, which was this other person. Yeah. In the second part, you've got Cringer, you've got Adam, and so now she kind of becomes the ancillary, I almost want to say fourth wheel, so to speak.
Yeah, but, I agree.
But
it was still, like I said, still very entertaining. I enjoyed it.
By the way, once again, somebody else does the Wonder Woman 84 ending better than Wonder Woman 1984. Again, first it was Supergirl, now it's Masters of the Universe Revelation. Both of them do the Wonder Woman 1984 ending, and they both did it 20 million times better than WWE 84. Mm-hmm. It's like further, like for the people who are like, you just don't understand the ending. Oh, I understood the ending. They still executed it badly, and it was shit.
Yeah. I have no inclination to watch Wonder Woman 84 again.
I know, but the point being is, yet again, here's another proof that, yes, we understood what your ending was. Here's a better example of that ending done far more effectively than than it was in Wonder Woman 84. And by the way, I just kind of wonder about something, which is, as long as I've got 2 seconds, all of a sudden that Rogue Squadron movie is going to snag. And I think she's off the project.
Oh, the Patty Jenkins film?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And it's about a year later. And at the time when they signed her, everybody was like, oh, this is a great signing and blah, 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 blah. And then Wonder Woman 84 came out, and it wasn't that great. And, and now it's come out that she's had some issues. And, it's easy to take shots at Disney on it, because it's distinctly possible they're fucking it up. Because Lucasfilm has fucked up a lot of shit in the last 10 years. But there is a part of me where I'm kind of like, yeah, but let's talk about how bad Wonder Woman 84 was. So, I don't know. I don't know what to, anyway. So that was that. Yeah, I would say it's a high recommend on the He-Man thing, without question.
Mm-hmm. I guess we can move on to Hawkeye.
Yeah. We
don't have to get too deep into this, but it's interesting. I like where it's going so far, and Haley Steinfeld does a good job, I think, as Kate Bishop, and they do the cool. They do some good setup for that. As soon as they said New York 2012, I'm like, oh shit. So she's going to see some shit. She's living in this high-rise in New York City in 2012. Like, oh, shit. And sure enough, that's how her father dies. And, she has a good upbringing, so she knows martial arts. She's inspired by seeing Hawkeye in a battle with the Chitauri. And so that's where the MCU version of Kate Bishop comes from. So, but yeah, this was good.
So let's talk about the important part of Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
I demand Rogers the Musical now.
Oh boy!
I demand it. I demand it. I want it. I want it now. And by the way, they're releasing an entire album of songs this month.
Oh my god!
For Rogers the Musical.
Is this on iTunes?
And it's going to be re-released. They have actually created a full album.
A full album of. I wonder if it's all going to be on Steve Rogers the Musical. Okay.
And
interesting.
The first song. Well, put this in perspective, they went out and got legit Broadway guys to create the music and create the parody look of the whole thing. And
the Hulk is just a guy in a green hoodie.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's like these guys understood that they were making fun of Broadway, and they went with it, and it's brilliant. It is absolutely
we'll conquer
brilliant.
the Chitauri and the Shawarma when we're done.
Yeah, and like I can't remember what the line is. Hey, wait, the lyrics are there. Hold on, I gotta find it.
Yeah, but so Hawkeye takes his kids to see Rogers the Musical on Broadway, and he's having because Nat seeing someone portray Natalie on stage and he's not having a good time about it. Rethinking the events, and we know he's suffered hearing loss over the years because of the explosions and all the shit he's dealt with over the years. But yeah, we get a great look into Clint's life where we didn't, with just passing scenes and occasional one-liners from the other Avengers films.
Like literally Captain America singing I could do this all day, which is hysterical.
I could do this all day.
Yeah, and like typical Broadway fashion. Like, the Hulk is incredible, smashing things up. Well, Iron Man takes to the sky, and I'm like, it's like, and it was funny because it's like Captain America's strong and Thor is a god, and Lord knows they're both easy on the eyes. Okay. The best line, I gotta find it. I can't find it.
Hawkeye, huh?
Yeah, it's a new series, a spin-off series on Disney Plus. Deals with Hawkeye, and it seemed like might even having a passing of the torch with Kate Bishop taking over as Hawkeye. That's, I think, what the setup we're getting here from this show.
There's a line, I'm not finding it in this one, about Avengers kick ass. That I'm not. I saw it and I heard it, and now I'm not finding it.
Those digital gremlins, they take away things every time.
No, maybe this is a bad one. Yeah, see, this is a better one. Will we conquer the Chitauri, then get Shawarma when we're done?
And what?
I'm trying to find it. There is a line.
Yeah, it's Hawkeye, Rogers the Musical Song Lyrics Revealed. Let's see here.
It's in there. There's something about a line about Avengers kick ass.
Interesting.
And then there's an entire section where Hulk gets to do a line where it's like, smash, smash, smash. It's like a music, like in a Broadway musical type. And, like, literally,
high theater.
And it's totally a parody. I mean, it's just like, it's like the kind of thing where, how can I say, it's perfect because the entire time, Hawkeye's like literally sitting there like wanting to like hide himself and cringe.
Well, that and he's feeling the loss of Nat. We'll fight them as a team. Natasha, that's her cue. Then Hawkeye hits the bullseye. There's no better shot than you.
Yeah.
Tony, you've got nukes to catch. Be careful not to crash. And Hulk, you know the magic word is Hulk. You know the magic word is Hulk. You know the magic word is smash.
Yeah. It is a smash thing.
City's trashed when you take your bow. We'll flame it.
In here too. Oh, you know what it is? This isn't the full version of the song. This is the versions of the song that they we're only an episode. Like the full song wasn't in. Full song hasn't aired yet. There's literally a line where it's like Avengers assemble and kick ass or something, and I couldn't stop laughing. But yeah, by the way, the line that Kate Bishop has about you need a better publicist is hysterical.
Yeah, there's a lot of good lighthearted humor in this.
Like she's like, your branding sucks.
Yeah,
I think she makes a comment at one point, and it's great because it's like it's true. He's like, I don't care about branding. Yeah, we know, we can tell. I mean, that's the part that's funny.
It sounds like fun. It really sounds like a lot of fun.
It is. Yeah. I really enjoyed it a lot. I expected to enjoy it. I didn't expect to enjoy it nearly as much as I did. The part that I laughed about too is just like, so apparently they've inserted Ant-Man into the first movie for the musical, and it's like he wasn't even there.
Maybe he was. He was just really small. You didn't see him.
Yeah. Oh, so the here's the best part. So the Zapruder people, the usual people who go through things with like a fine-tooth comb, or the Reddit people, or all these people.
Yeah, looking for Easter eggs. Yeah.
Like, are sitting there going, well, it's possible that now, because at one point Ant-Man goes back into the past, that now in the history of the MCU, that Ant-Man was there, so therefore it could be that Ant-Man was there at the bat. And I'm like, are you really? Really?
Ant-Man didn't show up until after the Sokovia attack.
Right, but the point being is, there's that part in Endgame where they all go back to...
Yeah, in Endgame, they go back in time to grab the Tesseract from their past selves, yeah.
Right, so they're using that thing with the time heist as a rationalization that's why Ant-Man's in the movie. It's like, no.
Nah.
No.
They just wanted an extra... They needed a line for the song, so that's what they did.
Oh, come on, you know what the real answer is. It's just like Hawkeye doesn't... It's like, we need somebody else who's funny, and we can't use Hawkeye because he's lame. So it's like, all right, we'll bring in Ant-Man. That's why the line about your branding sucks is hysterical, because that's exactly why Ant-Man's there. It's like, well, Hawkeye, whatever. I mean, like, Hawkeye has, does nothing. Like, there's, like, the one thing they pointed out, like, for example, there's the scene where they literally have it where, like, Loki's doing, like, the flying across the background.
Yeah.
Like on pulleys.
On the little,
And that's supposed to be the moment where Hawkeye's, like, going to shoot him with the arrow and he catches it and explodes. And they don't even do that because it's like, nah, we're not going to do that. But instead we're going to have, like, Ant-Man save the day. It's like, what?
It's more exciting because he's a guy in a suit, not just some guy with bows and arrows.
Right. And so that's the part that again.
That's just another reason for Hawkeye to say, he wasn't even there. I'm sure that was a thing for him.
Right. Well, he does. He's like at one point he tells his kids, he's like, and the best part is, so Hawkeye now has hearing loss. So the best part is, we're listening to this entire thing, and the irony is, Hawkeye's turned off.
He turned off his hearing aid, yeah.
Turned off his hearing aid, so he doesn't hear a thing. That's the best part of all. It's literally, he's like, what? Oh, wait, let me turn the hearing aid on. And they're all like, we know you don't want to be here. Why did you come? It's like, well, you guys wanted to see it.
Hey, he's trying to have a family Christmas time with his kids because, it's been 5 years. He wanted some time with them.
Mm-hmm.
While the wife is at their house, so the missus, the mom, so they're having a good time in New York City, which is why he's there. And then they're gonna, have a fly back home and do all the, checklist of all the great Christmas stuff to do. And of course that the perfect plans always get foiled because that's what happens in these kind of shows, where Kate Bishop shows up and she's wearing his Ronin suit. And he's like, where did you get that? So. But yeah, it was. I enjoyed it. It was good. We'll see what.
And by the way,
see where it goes.
So one of the things I'm getting a little frustrated about sometimes that's happening, because they did it in Loki and now they did it here in Hawkeye, which is, so they end showing somebody and they just leave it there, or they don't really tell you who this person is. Like on the last episode of Loki, where it was like everybody, like I feel like everybody, for some strange reason, everybody knew that guy was Kang except me. It's like, it's not like he was wearing like a purple suit or anything and looked like Kang. Okay.
He's just a guy in a suit.
Magically, right, it's just a guy in a suit. But magically, I'm supposed to know that that's Kang, and that's
Kang the Conqueror.
Right, and I'm supposed to magically, because apparently I'm supposed to read the IMDb to know that that's the guy who's playing Kang in the future. But I didn't, because I'm just watching the show. But, like, apparently people are supposed to know. And the only reason I bring this up is, so at the end, they end, and there's a woman or a girl, and that they're talking to, and that's where they end on, and it's supposed to be a moment, and I'm kind of like, who the fuck is that? And so I had to go look it up, and it's like, oh, that's Echo. And I'm like, okay, I'm aware of Echo. I kind of know the character, but no offense, I wouldn't have put two and two.
Yeah,
I wasn't putting two and two together.
Right, like the mom's boyfriend, Jacques. I didn't know he was the swordsman. Yeah,
that I caught later.
Yeah.
And it's funny because there are some people who are wondering if, considering that this is, and I don't know if this is going to happen or not, but there are people wondering if, based on all this, it being a lot of street crime kind of stuff, if we might not see the Kingpin here show up. And I don't think so, but the idea has been floated.
Yeah, because we got these flunkies or whatever they're called, the track.
Apparently they really are known as the Tracksuit Mafia, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
So they're following the material from Matt Fraction, because as a matter of fact, Matt Fraction's listed on quite a bit of the material that's listed in terms of the writing and the scripting and all that stuff. So good for him. He's a big time writer with Marvel.
Well, I hope he's getting compensated.
Yeah, he's getting compensated. Is he getting compensated well? That's the second question.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, honestly, I really enjoyed the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, I did too. I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes.
Yeah.
I like the dynamic between these two.
Yeah. I'm almost ready to, after 2 episodes, I'm ready to almost say this is one of my, this is in the running for best of the Marvel show so far.
Better than Falcon Winter Soldier?
It could be there.
Okay.
And the reason it could be there is I'm enjoying the humor. I'm enjoying the humor, and I'm enjoying the back and forth between the two.
Okay.
And I kind of love the background Christmas dynamic that they've also built in, not only with Christmas, but the whole, you are going to be home for the holiday, right?
Yeah, he's got 4. Will Clinton Barton get back to home in time for Christmas? Let's find out.
Right. So they've baked in the whole
this looming
Christmas.
Yeah. This ticking time bomb.
Right. Will there be a happily ever after for Christmas?
Will there be a Merry Christmas for the Barton family? Well, let's find out.
Right. Exactly. Which I'm like kind of sitting there and I'm like, you know what? I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, if Hallmark can do it, why can't Marvel?
Yeah.
At least I'll do it better, and they won't make 41 of them and make me fucking bang my head into a wall.
Right. It's like when we got Hulu. There's a lot of Christmas shit on Hulu.
Okay.
So
was there anything else we need to...
just Yellowstone.
Oh, yeah.
But I think this was kind of a meh episode for me. But the only thing I can point out is that Kevin Costner, he's taken his daughter's advice.
Yeah.
So he's picked up this animal rights activist.
Well, that's what's her name, too.
I forget the actress's name.
Piper Peerbrew.
Oh, okay.
From the Rocky and Bullwinkle movie, from obviously more well known from Coyote Ugly.
Yeah.
And she's done a lot of TV and movies over the years. I guess her husband is either one of the producers or executive producers on this show.
Yeah.
So that's how this happened. But
and then, there's a lot of concurrent storylines that are just that are just moving along at a snail's pace. They're doing like 5 different storylines at once.
Right.
Like, okay, so Beth's got this job. She wants to run the place into the ground because out of spite. She fires the guy who employed her, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah,
like her former boss.
The previous place, yeah.
So, okay, so that's happening with Beth. Kevin Costner, he's battling his conscience, I guess, or about this whole thing about an empty house or whatever. So he's got himself trying to find himself a love interest. Jimmy, his journey's begun at the 4 Sixes Ranch in Texas. Don't sleep on the ground. We see the one guy, the one actor. The only thing, I don't know the actor's name, but I mean I can tell by his voice and the shape of his jaw that he's the guy like from War Games, like the military guy from War Games. It's like, would you tell us what in the hell's going on here?
The old guy who plays Floyd.
Yeah, the old guy from the 4 Sixes Ranch, and he's done lots of TV and movies before, and so I recognize the way. And he is like looking like really old.
Yeah.
Like, wow. So we got Jack going on with Jimmy. We got Casey repairing his family at her father's or grandfather's house. The boy, he's got some, he's dealing with his, the trauma, whatever, when the raid happened. So we got that, and we got the boy.
Yeah.
And that went nearly nowhere. That didn't go anywhere this week.
Oh, and I thought you were talking about the old Cowhand storyline that's going on too.
Yeah, that too. Where now we're seeing like they're both in the shit house, and they're looking to each other. Like is the kid looking to a time machine, or is he looking back in time to himself?
No, I don't know.
What's the start of that? So that's going on.
Yeah, I'm with you.
There's a lot of there's a lot of shit in the pot right now, and it's just kind of stewing, and nothing's really happened this week. And the whole thing, and Jamie, going to the prison and finding out whether or not this dude hired this dude to take the hit on his family.
Right. Well, I mean, see, Mike, the funny part to me is the problem that you're talking about is the problem I've had for a few episodes now, which is it's like, okay, ever since they had, like, the first episode of the season, everything has been...
Yeah, the aftermath of the shooting, right.
Right. Then it was like 2 months later, and then everybody is in this divert mode.
Yeah, everyone's doing their own shit, and everyone's got their own little story to tell.
Right, and very few of them seem...
stories and 5 different stories to tell.
At least 6 different concurrent storylines happening right now on this show.
Right, and it could be more than that.
How do they keep it from getting to turn into a big cluster plot?
Well, they keep going back. They're using well enough TV editing to we're keeping tabs on all the shit that's going on right now. But nothing seemed to happen this week, really.
Well, right. Well, but I feel like nothing happened last week.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of felt this for a little while, which is like one of the most interesting characters you have is Jamie Dutton, and he's supposed to be one of the bigger characters on the and, like, he disappeared for, like, he was, like, non-existent for, like, 3 episodes. And then it's like, okay, he's going to go to the prison. And that accounted for approximately, like, 2 minutes of a 1-hour show.
Yeah, and then he went to confront his father to see whether or not whether he really did, if his father really put the hit on the Duttons. And he goes to his house to realize that Jamie's a dad, because I guess he had an affair with this one girl when he was campaigning for...
she was. No, I remember. It took me a second to remember what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's that period where he was campaigning, and he was with her, and she was pregnant. And I remember, it took me a while to remember about this, because I had forgotten totally about that. And I was like, what? And then I had to read a recap, and someone was like, oh yeah, that's right. That did happen, where she was like, I can't be around this unless you become your own man, and blah, blah, blah. Now, the interesting part to me is that she doesn't just show up out of the blue on her own, which means that was she involved with the dad, and she's a part of this whole scheme? Or, because I laughed because, Mike, I told you 3 weeks ago, who the big bad was. I literally was like, okay, unless there's going to be a twist somewhere.
Well, you said you waved your finger saying there might be another twist. But
I don't think there is. I don't think there is. I think they're really literally just going with you know what? It's the biological dad.
It's the biological Jamie's biological dad.
And we're gonna play this storyline about who's Jamie gonna choose. And why do I have a bad feeling that I know what the answer is going to be? I know what the answer is going to be because that's the lazy way of writing this. And it opens the door to allow them to let Beth Dutton do whatever the fuck they want to him. Which I think there's a lot of people who want to see that.
Yeah. Give the people what they want, and I think that's what they're going to get.
I think that's exactly what's going to happen, and that's unfortunate because it's like, that's too bad. That's too bad that's basically the direction it looks like. Well,
that being said, this is still good television, and I'm still enjoying it.
All right. I mean,
I want to see where I've not been disenfranchised yet. These are still interesting characters. I'm just not really keen on all this shit happening at once. And it's just difficult to keep tabs on. And then you watch the same trailer for the 1885 every commercial break.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Well,
if this is such a popular show, you'd think they can get more advertisers. But they're just going to keep. They got to promote their prequel series. But
well, I mean that's honestly the guy the guys in charge of Paramount and CBS at this point are banking a lot on the fact that they put a lot of money into this guy who writes Yellowstone, and they've got these two, they've got this that mayor of whatever the heck it is. Okay, and then they've
Mayor
got
of
this
Kingstown.
right, and then they've got this other show, and they know that right now the best advertising they can do is advertise it during Yellowstone.
Yeah.
They know that that's the one shit that they have, because they have no other way to really promote and try to like build new audiences for Paramount Plus. Because right now, the only audience that they're pulling, at least at this point, is for either the Star Trek shit and a few people who want to see the good fight. Yeah. Otherwise, most people
they got a Paramount Plus. Yeah,
right. They got to figure out a way to get people, and so
this is a way, because this is a popular show. So
I mean, I knew there was a rumor at one point they were talking about, because I guess the Paramount Network has changed. In fairness, I don't watch the Paramount Network unless I'm watching Yellowstone. That's it these days.
Yeah, I know. I've first two episodes of Discovery have dropped. I haven't watched them yet. I've got access to it here.
No, I'm talking about like the regular cable channel.
Yeah. Oh, on regular Paramount Network. Okay.
Right, the regular Paramount Network channel. I don't think that's. There was a lot of talk because I guess the format of that channel has changed, and there were questions about they might move Yellowstone. And one of the things they were talking about was moving Yellowstone to Paramount Plus and making people have to pay to watch Yellowstone, and they realized that was a bad idea.
That
and
is
instead,
a terrible idea.
Right, which is that wasn't going to work. And and instead they went with this route, which was we're going to make people want to see Yellowstone. Great. We're going to use it to basically promote the shit out of these other two shows and get people to buy the Paramount Network. And they're taking a gamble.
Yeah.
In some ways, I hope it works.
They're doing the old fashioned hard sell, because they know that the only way they're going to get that commodity to go over is on the popularity of Yellowstone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much their sacred cow, I guess, is right now. I mean, you could say that.
Well, their cash cow.
Their cash cow, right? There you go. So why wouldn't you want to go ahead and run the fuck out of 200 shows on your cash cow, knowing that you're going to get all the numbers, you're going to get all the people at that time, knowing the popularity of Yellowstone?
That's smart. That's what they got to do, I guess, to promote.
Well, and the other problem is, it's like, okay, I mean, in fairness, I'm trying to think about all the other CBS Paramount networks that they own, that they have access to, where it's like, okay, you could put new content on there, but it's like, okay, like for example, when they brought back CSI, and now CSI is on regular CBS, and they talked to William Peterson, because apparently at one point the conversation was to bring back the original CSI and put it on Paramount Plus. He's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. If I'm on, I'm going to be on regular TV. So, I mean, to me, I kind of laugh, because it's like, okay, if you're Paramount, it's not like there's a lot of programming that you can spin off of or use from CBS that you can pull the kind of stuff that you can pull. I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out. I mean, really, this is one of the few things that they have right now where it's like, okay, they might be able to pull some people unless they start pulling from some of their film stuff. Like, if they were like to do some sort of Top Gun spin-off, okay, where it wasn't Tom Cruise or some other character, you know what I mean? That might pull some people if it was good. I'm trying to think of what other movie franchises.
But there's the word, good. I mean, because that's to try to go ahead and try to wrangle all those numbers and
wrangling up them numbers,
to get them to come over to Paramount. I mean, that's a hell of a lot of.
Yeah, but we've made a point earlier about how you make pretty much any movie, or you make like a 6-part series, it's bound to get picked up by some streaming service, because there's Everyone wants their streaming service to be the number one to compete with Netflix. If not,
for content.
Yeah, everyone's craving for content.
Right. Well, and in fairness, they made some. For example,
how many? Yeah, go ahead.
Like for example, Paramount is dealing with some bad deals. I can't remember who it is who has the rights to the South Park stuff.
Yeah, South Park is CBS Viacom because they were on Comedy Central, which is owned by CBS Viacom.
But they don't have the streaming rights for them.
Well, the post-COVID special was on Paramount Plus.
Right, I know, but the rest of the episodes are not. Like, if you want
I know. Like South Park Studios, maybe Scott and Trey, or Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Maybe they've got it on their own streaming service because I remember there was a time.
I want to say it's Peacock.
Oh, maybe it is Peacock.
Right, like I said, at the time,
that's
CBS
weird.
didn't have a streamer.
That's weird. They would be on Peacock because I think of Peacock. I think of Channel 5 naturally like family friendly fare. But I mean.
Speaking of that, we're getting a season 2 of Young Rock, so I might be inclined to watch that.
There's also. For one night only, they're doing Annie the Play on Channel 5.
Yes, I meant to catch some of that Lady Gaga and Tony Bennett concert because Tony Bennett's 95 years old, and he's still got it, man.
Yeah, well, so does Berry Gordy at 92 today.
Here we go. This is what I was looking for.
Man,
Warner Brothers inked a $500 million deal in 2019 to stream South Park on its streaming platform HBO Max over a 5-year period.
Okay, so it's on HBO Max.
But, and then, wait, hold on.
Yeah, but what would Paramount be doing with the South Park special if they're playing on HBO Max?
MTV Productions puts out South Park.
And again, at the time, their streaming service shit was a mess.
Yeah.
It was CBS All Access, and apparently they weren't thinking it through.
Nope.
And stuff like this happened.
Yeah.
And as a result,
so before the pandemic hit,
right.
Everyone's stuff. We've talked here many a time about the streaming wars. And where it's, what's come of it.
And at the time, they rather than they didn't think long term. They thought, hey, we can make $500 million, which I can't blame them for.
No.
By selling off the rights to this library for a period of time. Well, guess what? Now you could really use that library to get people to come over on the streaming service, but you don't have it.
Yeah, exactly. You can use that as your collateral to go ahead and just bring people over to it, but you fold it off.
Yeah.
But in fairness, there's a lot of stuff like that where people are waiting for agreements to expire. Like, there's still CW shows that new seasons are landing on Netflix because they still have existing deals, like Riverdale and All American. And shows like that, where they're very popular on Netflix, and as they should be, they're good shows. But really, in reality, those are shows that right now should be on HBO Max. They're not because those streaming right deals are not done. Right. And at the time, it was a smart, good deal for CW and for Warner because it got them the exposure that they needed for these shows,
right?
That, these CW shows that sometimes people didn't watch because they were like, oh, it's a CW show. But they'd find it on Netflix and go, oh, this is interesting. Right. So, again, this happens sometimes. The problem is when you write yourself a bad deal. When you write yourself a bad deal, like the one that essentially Marvel, Disney paid for to get out of, which was, you essentially lost the live action rights at one point in perpetuity for anything regarding the Fantastic Four or the X-Men at that point to Fox. Well, we eventually bought up Fox. That's not a problem. But again, they got a share Spider-Man
with Sony.
with
Yeah.
Sony.
Yeah.
And they can't make a straight-up live-action Hulk movie for just the Hulk without talking to Universal and giving them money. Because Universal still has rights from back in the 70s from Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno.
So that's all what these streaming services have to deal with. So, well,
right, and you know, this was stuff that was. Yeah. I mean, look, I think we mentioned it before, which is, you know, Tribune would love to be creating new Dick Tracy,
right,
for live action, and they can't.
Well, we've had this conversation,
right? Because they got to pay Warren Beatty, and they don't want to pay Warren Beatty. But I'm just bringing this up because this is an example of the stuff that used to get signed.
Right.
And that, so when you ask the questions of, well, what were they thinking at the time? They didn't know what they didn't know, and they didn't realize what they didn't realize. And so when they signed over some of these things, they weren't thinking it all the way through. Like, you know, and so
it goes all the way back to Superman. You know, same thing. I mean, they sold their rights to Superman for I think it was $500.
Well, the two people who came up with it,
yeah, 500 bones, and then they were on staff at the comic book for 17 years afterwards.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's their whole thing. I don't want to get into it all, but I mean, they also talk about all these Marvel artists who worked for Marvel. Were they contractors who created this product, and then they own it, but they rent it or whatever? The semantics of whether or not a Marvel character created by a person is owned by Marvel or the person.
Right. So it's the same thing, you know, we could go into a million stories about music copyright. Same thing.
Yeah, we could.
You know?
Yeah. So, so to your point about Yellowstone, I feel the same way you do, which is there's a lot of storylines going on right now, and the problem with there being this many storylines, Mike, is exactly what you're talking about, which is it's like just when I'm getting interested in something, you're popping to the next one. And it's like, it'd be one thing if maybe, and here's the irony. You know, this isn't the day and age of the 22 episode season. This is the day and age of like the 10 to 13 episode season. And
sometimes
you're already
less.
Sometimes you're left. And you're already at episode 4 or 5.
This
and
is
you're
5 already.
Right, you're at 5 already.
Yeah.
So at maximum, we're talking another
maybe
8.
Yeah.
At minimum, we're talking possibly another 3.
And you wonder how this is all going to get wrapped up.
Right. I mean, I understand some of it's not going to get wrapped up.
26 weeks, man.
Right. Well, in fairness, people didn't, you know, I hate to say it. In some ways, this is better because you're not dragging out storylines like, you know, perfect example.
True. Yeah, that's true, but, you know.
Right, perfect example, the CW having to do their superhero shit where, you know, okay, you're letting the Flash have 22 weeks. And you can tell. Because there's shit storylines in between where it's like, I really just wish you'd give us good fucking content.
Yeah, you can't always have, number one. It can't be number one every week. You can't have you can't have your A. As much as you try, you can't have your A game for 26 episodes in a season.
Well, and here's the thing. No. If you're not going to tell your A storyline on some of these, at least make it interesting and worthwhile. No, not really. Okay. You know, so it's like, call me when the shit gets interesting.
That's what you don't want to have it turn into grade C fodder, you know?
Yeah. So, anyway, we got any other news before we wrap it up?
So a couple quick things. One, I also did watch Succession, and so we're getting further along into it. This was probably the craziest episode of it for the season. I will say that I'm getting to a point where it's like I'm seeing familiar patterns from last season, and I'm kind of sitting here and I'm kind of like, you know, if they just keep running this rounds in circles, I'm not sure how much longer I'm sticking around, but we'll see. You know, and again, ironically, they're having similar problems that Yellowstone's having, which is literally it's like, okay, fucking do something. I mean, it's interesting some of the stuff you're doing, but fucking get to the point, or fucking do something. Or, like, for example, there was supposed to be this whole big stock fight thing that's supposed to happen, and it happened already, and it was kind of nothing. And it's just like, okay. And it's like, back to normal bullshit. And it's like, really? It's like, I mean, there's two ways to look at it, which is, okay, the old man always seems to win, and that's how it's going to work, and this is what happens. Or it's like, at some point, when do things change in some aspects of the story to make this where there's consequences? And it's like, if there's consequences, it seems like the consequences are always for the people who are willing to put their necks out, which, okay, I guess that's possible. But again, I don't want to get into a lot of it because you guys don't watch. But the point is, they're having similar issues there as they are with Yellowstone, and they are similar. I did watch that second episode of the Flash thing, and ugh,
no,
it doesn't get better.
No, that's too bad.
It's not getting better. And to take it a step further, it's like, okay, they built this thing out like, hey, we're going to have all these guest stars, and like they made it sound like it was going to be more of a team thing. And it's like, it's more like this person had a cameo, and like we're going to get Black Lightning in the upcoming episode coming up this week. So that's kind of cool. He might actually be there the whole episode, but we're already at 3, and it's like I kind of expected that we would see like more of a team kind of thing going on.
Is Flash the only show that this is now? I mean, on CW?
No,
we've got
the Bat.
The Batwoman. Yeah,
they still. Legends of Tomorrow has been decent, and obviously Superman and Lois is happening.
Yeah.
And at some point that Naomi show is going to happen too.
Have they greenlit season 3 of Stargirl?
Yes.
Okay.
But again, I don't know when that's happening.
But that's not related to what's happening with the Flash and all the others. That hasn't tied in yet.
Well, so far not.
No, so far no.
No, don't do that.
Do what?
Don't do what? Don't do it.
Don't do it. Come on, get the Turbo Man doll. Come on. He's muted him. Okay.
That's always funny when that happens. I think the only other thing I can think of is, so Amy Pascal, who is at Sony, pretty much announced that, yeah, we're getting another Spider-Man trilogy with Tom Holland.
Yay.
With Marvel, with MCU.
Yay. Because of money. Sony and Marvel like money, and if they work together, they can both make money.
Right,
and
but
everybody's happy because everybody's got money.
That's right, man.
Well, the truth is Sony didn't necessarily need Marvel to make money anymore. They didn't have to. They don't have to, Mike. You know that.
No.
Ooh, what a creative freedom.
But we'll see. But yeah, supposedly, yeah, that's she's a high enough source to announce that, and she went out of her way in a conversation with Fandango to pretty much go, hey, let me address that. Yeah, this is happening.
Yay.
Ooh. So.
Well, they wanted to throw a bone to the fans who are all like, oh, this could be the last Spider-Man.
Well, let's put this in perspective. It was never going to be the last Spider-Man. Was it going to be the last?
It was last Spider-Man in the MCU trilogy, possibly.
Right, but I didn't think that was happening either after the events of Venom.
Yeah.
The post-credit scene in Venom kind of made that clear that wasn't gonna.
Okay. Anything else? Are we good?
I don't have anything to add.
I don't think so. I mean,
yeah.
All right.
I'm trying to think if there was anything else that was early last week that we didn't.
Nothing dropped over Thanksgiving weekend, really.
Let me take a quick look real fast. Right. If there was anything I'm like, oh wait, we didn't talk about that. But yeah, I mean, I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Okay. All right. I guess we can cap.
I was going to say to you, I mean, when was Optimus Prime going to come and deal with the Omicron or whatever the hell it is?
The Omicron variant. It's on. It's coming. The Omicron variant's coming.
Well, that's why I said to you.
I'm going to hide under my bed.
We need Optimus Prime.
No, actually, the Hot Rod opens the Matrix and destroys Unicron in Transformers the movie. So technically, it would be Hot Rod or Rodimus Prime who would defeat the Omicron.
There was a weird rumor.
I heard a rumor
out there from giantfreakingrobot.com.
I heard a rumor
about J.J. Abrams doing another Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
Meh. Yeah, this thing with Star Wars and Marvel, we're dealing with just these little miniseries slash storylines in these 6 or 8 episode seasons, and we're not getting any epic films. I mean, Ivan saw the Eternals and he seemed to enjoy it, but it's just like really meh. Good. These characters, it's like meh for me. I don't see if we're going to get another like Avengers style big epic battle that.
It's going to take a while.
It's going to take a long time to rebuild. Same thing with the Star Wars franchise. The Star Wars movie franchise is sitting in ruins. All we're getting is the Boba Fett series.
I don't know.
And Mandalorian.
It almost seems like
and whatever cartoons.
Star Wars piecemeal, you know.
Well, I mean, in fairness, I'm kind of okay with what I'm seeing Star Wars-wise a little bit, and the fact that, you know, what we're getting right now. And maybe it's because I like the part where we're kind of playing in the in-between, so to speak. Okay, there were a couple other things we should talk about.
All right, hit me.
One, did you see the Super Pets trailer?
Oh, yeah, we did get that. Yeah, that looks interesting. That could be fun.
With The Rock and Kevin Hart, and yeah, that I was kind of thinking that was just like a little kid's thing, and it's like, might have to give it a shot.
Who is the voice of Clark Kent, Superman? Is that Keanu Reeves?
I don't know. I have to go look.
I think Keanu Reeves is in the credits, but I think I don't know if he's going to be Luthor or Superman.
Yeah, they've got some big-time voices doing that show. And the animation
and of course,
is really good.
We got a Kevin Hart to go with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So, yeah.
No, I was just kind of surprised, like, who the voice talent was for it. And I'm like, okay, the animation's really kick-ass. Okay, it's like, I know this is aimed at little kids, but it's like, this seems like adults might want to
I'm sure it's going to have some grown-up humor that's going to fly over the kids' heads, and the folks will laugh at it, or at least it'll get some
effect.
What, Ivan?
The Bullwinkle effect.
Oh, the Bullwinkle effect. Yes. Okay.
That is when they had all the writing go, where the adults got it. The kids were just so enamored with what was
right. Just the kids were enamored with the visuals, where there was a lot of grown-up humor in it. I think we'll have some of that in this one too. It looks good. It could be fun. I'm gonna.
The other thing was apparently they were airing, and I it's out there, which is the first 5 minutes of Jurassic World Dominion.
Yawn.
I know you're not. I thought it was interesting. I thought it looked kind of interesting. Again, I'm a little more interested than you are, but I get your point. But it certainly looked interesting to watch them kind of like be in the United States of America, like trying.
You mean like they did with Jurassic Park 3?
Well, yeah, that's a little different than that, but yeah.
All right. Yeah, it's not my bag. I saw the first Jurassic World, and I saw all the others before then. Before it seemed like the first one still's the best for me.
The first one was the best one.
I did like the first one the best, and Chris Pratt did okay in Jurassic World. When was that? 2014 or was it 2015? Jurassic World. Yeah, it was 2015. I think.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah. It's okay. Yeah, it's Jurassic Park movie. seen one. You've seen one. In my opinion. But
hey, they're still making a lot of money, though.
yes, they are.
Yeah.
You know,
much like the Beatles.
Yep, and there's still a want for that too.
That's right. There's a market for it, and I know these Jurassic World movies, these Jurassic Park movies, do very good overseas. So can't ignore that money.
Not to imagine the merchandising. Here we go again.
Merchandising. That's right.
Yes.
Well, there's a difference because Jurassic Park isn't for boomers.
No, the kids like dinosaurs, so they'll go see.
I like dinosaurs.
And the sci-fi people, because, they'll prove that, mankind, you make me want to vomit. Because you're so petty and cruel with your money.
No. I said dinosaurs. I didn't say crappy, shitty show like Lynn before time.
Before you go to Rome, let us know where you're spinning this week, Ivan.
Yeah.
Well, on the 3rd, I will be at tentatively on the 2nd, which is the Thursday. I might be at the Chef Special in Chicago. Then, of course, Friday, I will be at Cafe Mustache for sure from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. on Friday, December 4th. The 6th, I will be at Logan Arcade for the Mundo 80s set over there, 2410 West Fullerton in Chicago. Cafe Mustache is 2313 North Milwaukee, and Chef Special is 2662 Northwestern. So there you go.
Okay. And Jeff, you got any thing going on Clubhouse this week?
By the time that this drops, no.
Okay.
I'm kind of in hiatus mode at the moment.
So season 2 of Sunday Night.
Yeah, that's not happening yet.
Okay.
So
that's still in the works.
That's still in the works of figuring things out.
All right.
The only thing I currently
progress.
No, I don't want to say work in progress. It's just we're taking a hiatus, and
we're all hibernating.
Yes, we are. I'm trying to think of anything else. Oh, I did have one other thing. You'll get a kick out. Mike, remember how I told you I wasn't going to watch La Brea?
Yeah, you were watching it, and then you stopped watching it, and
I lied.
Oh, you finished it.
Well, no, I've been watching it as it goes along.
Okay, you're still hooked. You're still in.
I still got hooked, and so apparently the season finale is this week, and they've already greenlit a season 2.
Ooh.
That was also out there, but honestly, they really shouldn't have called it La Brea.
All I know is just when I hear La Brea, all I think of is tar pits, and I think woolly mammoths and dinosaurs and stuff.
Well, and the thing is too,
like quicksand.
Right, and the problem, like I said, the biggest problem is there's a lot of people going, because I want to watch a TV show about a sinkhole. It's like, that's not really what it's about.
Well, it's like when The Sopranos came out, everyone thought it was going to be about opera.
No, they didn't.
Some people were misled by the title.
Really?
Until they knew that the R was a handgun.
How come they're not singing opera? What the fuck is this? Lush, you said they were going to
That's
sing
why
opera.
Joey Diaz didn't audition for it. Because he saw the name, we're going to be making the show called The Sopranos. Like, I don't sing, so I'm not going to audition for it. True story.
Sing. I don't fucking sing. That's not what I fucking do.
Yeah.
I fucking smack people upside the head and shoot them. That's what I fucking do.
Yeah.
I don't fucking sing. Fuck this shit.
Do I look like I fucking entertain you? Huh? Do I make you laugh? Huh?
Yes, Ivan, you do. We're on Instagram and Twitter at SOTRT Podcast. We're on YouTube. Click the bell, subscribe. You know when to get the content here. Ivan is on Twitch.tv at Java and Ivan.
Yes.
And Jeff is everywhere at Dynamite Productions. You can download the show. You're on usual podcast hosting platforms, i.e. Google, Apple, Spotify. Anchor.fm/SOTRT is a good way on your internet browser to watch it and listen. Well, you can watch the screen or the title screen as you listen. Email us at sotrtpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook. That's where you get all the crazy stories and articles we discuss here, as well as what we're watching. And Ivan's little Facebook group, which is all the naughty, saucy little memes that we like to diverge into. Jive and Ivan's Vibe Tribe.
You mean like
guilty giggles?
You mean
Lots of guilty giggles, man.
I'm sorry, one at a time, please.
You mean like cats taking selfies of dogs fucking?
Yeah, I could, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, memes like that, yes. And maybe the
Excellent.
occasional dad joke, because I'm not all, I'm not a heathen. I'm not a total heathen.
I am.
Yeah, yes, you are.
Okay.
So, yeah, send us an email, DM, GM, whatever you want to do, and give us a shout out.
Yes,
we appreciate it. So thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading. We appreciate you. This will do episode number 175 of Squares to the Round Table podcast. I'm Mike, and over there is Ivan and Jeff. Thanks for listening, everybody.
And I hope you bought Spider-Man tickets. Well, supposedly.
Oh, shit. I gotta get my Spider-Man.
Yeah,
get out and listen to some music. I'm playing out in the
somebody
city.
say that they're scalping Spider-Man tickets already.
Oh my
1980s. It's going to be great shit. Logan Arcade. 2410 West Fullerton. Come on.
Come on, do it. Come on.
I'm not going unless you play The Cure.
Huh?
Exactly.
I didn't hear what you said.
Cure.
The Fuhrer?
The Cure.
The Cure. I play The Cure.
I have The Cure. You're the disease and I'm the cure.
But not